Welcome to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Jen Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
He's here. Yay.
I'm here. I made it.
He's 1 year older. Today we're going to be talking about SGF for games and Isaiah's birthday, and also how our perceptions of our birthdays have evolved over time, and the way we celebrate them has evolved over time for not games.
Yeah.
I feel like we can maybe just get straight into it.
Yeah, let's talk games.
Let's talk games. This SGF episode is very special because Isaiah was at SGF for the first time ever.
Yes. SGF gave me the birthday gift of attendance this year.
Yeah, this is crazy because normally what we do here is we talk about, like the announcements, and then I'll talk a little bit about the stuff I played. But now we can equally talk about the stuff we played and basically not actually acknowledge any announcements because we saw almost nothing, and I never caught up, if I'm being honest. I never fully caught up on what was going on. I'm like,
Yeah, no, same. I'm still like kind of half guessing all the like formal announcements that happened while we were away. And at this point, I feel like it's too late for me to watch anything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like all the news, I've already gathered all the news in bits and pieces since then, and it'd be weird to just sit down and watch the conferences like proper.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also feel like, I don't know, it's a little more exciting to get to have like hands-on stuff to share with you guys. Like, you guys know, we're excited for the new Out of War.
Totally.
You know, I was interested in Crazy Taxi, then immediately disinterested because they're like, we made it with AI a little bit. I'm like, that's a little bit of a bummer. I don't know. The new Zelda, we'll see. Another contentious art style.
Another re-release of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, so, there's a lots and ends there, but I think we can just kind of get into Summer Game Fest. Before we talk about the games that we played and kind of going down the list, what we thought, things that stood out, what was it like attending the show? So to be clear, like, we both attended through MinMax, which is one of the two main companies that I work for. This year we were a bit thin on available cohorts, and it was suggested that, hey, what if we sent Isaiah on our behalf? He's basically, one step removed from MinMax proper. You've been at a lot of our content that we've done when we travel, because you'll come with me to that. You were at the Minnesota meetup. You're often behind the scenes, holding the camera when I'm doing content for MinMax or vlog stuff. You've taken the photos. Lord knows you run all of my tech, and thus are why I can easily stream and do the podcasts and have everything look good. So you've definitely been like an invisible like hand within MinMax to some degree. So what was it like to get the call up to join our team, or the MinMax national team,
from the minors
for
to
the
majors?
summer for the SGF World Cup? Yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think that the I don't know how it is every year, right? Because again, this is the first year that I got to attend proper. But like the SGF campus is both like bigger and smaller than I thought it would be. It's bigger in the sense that like I've driven by where it is before, right? Like during non-SGF times and everything like that. And it feels like it's very much just a bunch of buildings, a coffee shop, a warehouse. Like it feels like all these kind of separate locations that just like are next to each other on this street. But it's cool seeing how they really do make it feel like one cohesive like area space during SGF, and they like block off everything and like give you more like maps to get from place to place and everything like that. Like it feels much more like a campus, which is kind of cool. It is interesting seeing so many people in the industry all in one place again, right? Like I RIP E3, I never got to go to E3, and so like these kind of conventions, a PAX, like these are kind of the closest I get to what I imagine that E3 feeling is, of like walking a show floor, seeing friends and personalities and journalists and media and like all these people you like recognize and know, you know, peers and industry folks, and like seeing them in their like most game time moments, right? Like that's inherently, I think, just kind of cool, as someone who is not on the media side, like traditionally, right? And then the games itself, right? Like it's always cool, you know, if you've been to a PAX, if you've been to any sort of con, you know, the act of walking by a booth, seeing a game that's interesting, taking a look at it, seeing what it's like, hopping on if you can, right? Like pick up the sticks and play a little bit of it, get a feel for it. You see some early builds, you see some jankiness still in some games and stuff like that. Like all of that I think is very cool, and like a peek behind the curtain of how the sausage is made. Seeing again just stuff really early, some stuff coming out like very soon potentially, right? Like you see like a whole wide array of like games and passion and projects that people are working on in a way that you don't get to see outside, like just from online coverage of an SGF, right? Unless you again are watching other, you know, YouTubers, behind the scenes kind of videos, travel logs, things like that, where you maybe can get a little glimpse into that. But even then, it's still so different compared to just being there in person.
Nice. Yeah, it's a fun show. It's very different than E3, but it is like in it. It's interesting to it is kind of between an E3 and a PAX, like kind of as you were sort of alluding to. I think the big difference is you need appointments for SGF. They did for the first time this year. They had a couple places that were like, hey, we have walk-ups, like specifically like we have times for walk-ups. Like that was when we checked in, they had like a list of publishers that were doing that. But for the most part, you like need to have an appointment set up. And then I'd say for like rough around the edges, it varies depending on like, I think the level of the game. I do think the more prestige titles are like a little less rough, or like the higher, you know, AAA titles, but even those, like a lot of those are hands off. So it's like, this probably would be rough if we played it, but you're not letting us play it. So it's like, well, in this specific angle with this specific, you know, person controlling it kind of goes smoothly. Was this the like, you know, with being able to see like a couple of like bigger like AAA things like Control Resonant, were these the like cloudiest games you've gotten to play ahead? Was Control the biggest game you've ever played before it was released, or is there something that's above that? Because you've done a lot of PAXs and stuff, so you've like hit the indie scene pretty hard.
Yeah.
But you haven't done many, like, usually those games are reserved for individual game specific previews, which you don't do because you aren't in like the traditional coverage circuit yet. People can invite Gangcast anything at any time.
That is true.
But yeah, so is that the biggest game you ever played before it came out?
I think it's the biggest game with like limited access kind of thing. Like thinking back, I think it was either at like a PAX or a GDC or something where they had the Metaphor ReFantazio, right? And it's like that game was huge and massive,
right? And you
had
did
a huge
play
line
that, right?
of people. I didn't, only because the line was so long, kind of thing. But like more so just like highlighting like opportunities to play other big like AAA bangers like that. But I think Control is the first one that was not like open to the biggest one that was not like just generally open to the public, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, you sort of had to be invited to the event, so to speak, in order to attend and get a chance to play. And even then, they might not have room for you. Technically they didn't have room for me, right? Like I kind of was able to like tag along, and it's like, okay, cool. Like I still got to see it.
You played a little bit. I mean, you did the boss, which was funny. That it was you, me, and
Kelsey. Oh yeah, no,
like,
I definitely played it. Yeah, it was very
like,
fun.
It's Isaiah's turn, and the boss came, and we're like, glad it's not me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there were any other hands-on games that would be
Crimson
big,
Desert
like
was probably the biggest one before that.
That is true.
We got
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And we did get to do that as like, I think it was kind of a Gangcast thing because you were like there.
Yeah.
Or maybe I had asked. I think it was like an us thing, but maybe I'm misremembering that.
Yeah. And that was really cool. That was actually really, really dope. I still want to play some more of that game. Yeah. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. If I could go through and like look at all the games and search through emails, I'm sure I'll find something that was like randomly super cloudy. But off the top of my head, yeah, I think Control is up there.
Cool. Did you feel like the weight of those moments, or were you kind of just like, I'm just going from place to place and like, who cares, kind of thing?
Oh man. I definitely felt like okay, cool. Like everywhere you go, for me at least, everywhere I went at SGF felt very much like I'm putting on. It felt almost like a career fair. If you ever attended one of those, like in college or something, where it's like, oh snap, okay, let me like actually put on the shirt and tie and like make sure I'm polite and respectful and not like the goofy goofball that I am, and everything like that. Like I'm going to meetings and shaking hands and like introducing myself and blah blah blah. And so like there was always like somewhat of a sense of like professionalism going into any appointment and everything that I had, and I think that was different from like a PAX where it does feel inherently just a little bit more casual, right? Like there's not a schedule you need to attend. Like you just kind of walk around, and maybe you do have some appointments, right? But like the vast majority of people who are attending PAX, I feel like, are just kind of walking around. They're seeing a game, they're waiting in a line to play it, or they just see a game that's open and they're hopping on. This felt very much like more businessy, more like, oh, I have to be at this booth by this time because that's my slot, and if I miss that slot, I won't get to play it because they're booked for all the other slots. Or very rarely do you find like you have to find pockets of time to eat, right? Where it's like, oh man, like thankfully I gave myself a break between 1 and 2. Let me go grab a bite to eat there, or grab a coffee or something there. Like it's much more job than like attending any other conference for me, which is not like a bad thing. Like there's that's inherently also cool to a degree, right? Just based on sort of the context that comes with. But yeah, so I don't know. It definitely felt different from other conventions, but that difference doesn't mean worse. It just means different.
I think my last like general like vibes question for you is, how was your energy like during SGF? Because I think you did Saturday and Sunday, so you did every day except for one. They go Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And technically you did a little bit on Friday as well because we went to the mix. Granted, it was like our briefest trip to the mix ever, but I'm going to still count that because it's like it kind of is, that's time that we would have otherwise been sort of resting. So, yeah, what were your energy levels like during the show?
Yeah, I mean, it was... I don't know if it's fair to say abnormally warm during SGF, but it was like sort of a little mini like LA peak heat wave kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, no, like make sure you're aware of the weather when you go, and like especially me, I run hot, so like it felt like a little bit of a... Oh man, I'm blanking on like the word and phrase, but like it was like a thing I had to definitely be aware of, like going into it and everything.
Were you generally like more tired than you thought you'd be? Were you less tired than you thought you'd be?
I was probably less tired than I thought, only because like I've done GDC, I've done PAX, I've done other conventions where you're kind of like up and moving about all day. This one, the difference here was again really like just like the professionalism aspect to it, but like you are on your feet and moving from the time you wake up until 11, 12, 1 o'clock when you get home, depending on what you do after the event closes, kind of thing, right? Definitely, prepare, packed water. It was great that they had food trucks and stuff there. So like you don't lose much time trying to like, like a PAX or something like that, where it's like, I want to eat. Let me find somewhere to go or find a restaurant, wait in line, blah, blah, blah. This one is like very quick to like get a bite to eat and then get back onto the show floor or whatever, or HQ. And that definitely helps kind of with energy levels. So overall, I would say it was better than other convention. It also helps that like the campus is so much smaller than like a convention center. You know what I mean? Now, could SGF, continue to grow and they need to find a bigger venue space? Sure, probably, possibly, right? It's totally possible. And they might already be there if you ask some folks, right? But like end to end, you can walk, from the furthest ends of SGF to the opposite end in, I don't know, 5-10 minutes tops kind of thing. Like, and that's if you stop and you're saying hi to people, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't take much to get around, thankfully. So it inherently is just like a little bit more of a relaxed physical presence, being at a SGF compared to other conventions.
I think this is my most tiring convention, actually. Like, I feel
really?
Yes, because it's less like crazy than like PAX in a way, because it is very much like you have just this tiny little space and you're just going from like, you can have an appointment that's like as close from appointment to appointment as like the ends of an apartment are, like a reasonably sized apartment. It's like, it's small, but because it's so small, I'm stacking back to back to back to back things. And then you are like always like, if you're not like actively like working, like playing a game, you will probably be like talking to people, which is another like layer of like drain. And then sure. I have like the vlog that I do as well with MinMax, and it's like that. It's so, and then after everything's done and you've like been working like all day, it's like, okay, and now we have like our night activities. So it's like it's pretty tiring for me. Like this one really wore me down at the very end though, which I think worked out well on my part. I kind of, you can look at the days and know like how to plan out your stuff. So like I was out the latest on the last day because I'm like, well, the next day I'm just off, or at least not fully off because I still had work to do, but I can just sort of manage. But yeah, it took me like 2 days to like recover from SGF. I was so tired. I was so,
that's a good point.
So sleepy. Shout out to you because you went straight from like SGF on Sunday to work, and like granted you had one less SGF day, so maybe that's like because it is compound after a while. Especially your voice. Like by the end, like my voice was pretty rough. Even like the shows I did on early in the week, my voice was still kind of hoarse. It never got so bad that I lost it like I did the first time I went to SGF, because then we went to Universal right after, which was like insane. But yeah, it can be pretty tiring. But I'm glad that you felt like it was manageable, because I was not concerned, but I was very curious, like morbidly curious, like how are you gonna like take the chaos of the days. Now granted, we didn't like go that hard during SGF, like it wasn't like I was at the JW every single night. I kind of saved that for the end. We did Giant Bomb one night. The other night we chilled and just hung out with like Kelsey's people, and that was a very low-key like easy night. So it's been a little crazier, but you got a good look at what the vibes are, and you live to tell a tale, so that's cool.
Both of my like SGF nights, I was tapped out before we got home. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't want to give the impression that I was this high energy person well into the night, because by the time 10 o'clock rolled around, we gotta beat you down harder.
I got you.
Regardless
Come
of
with me to
wherever we were
in Germany, and let's really put the pedal to the metal.
Well, see that I feel like I inherently am kind of just a like low key kind of person, right? Like I'm fine when I lose energy, when my battery runs dry. I'm fine just finding a corner to sit in and scrolling on my phone a little bit while I recharge, right? Like, I don't need to be a up and going run kind of person, but if I have to be, I can muster that for a day or two. You know what I mean?
That's a good spot to be in. Yeah, maybe one day you and I go to Gamescom. I really like the indie stuff specifically.
That'd be cool.
No shade to the AAA stuff, but the because they have a lot of big AAA stuff as well. Like Capcom had a big presence there last year, but the indie area of Gamescom Germany is like it makes PAX look like your community indie meetup. Like it is
really
massive. And there's a lot of like that's
cool.
where I found Map, a game about maps, which maybe we'll talk about at some point, maybe when I beat it, because you just beat that. But
yeah.
yeah, but like, you know, it's where Map was born. Like it's a big deal. Anyway, but genuinely I like the game a good amount. So all right, speaking of games, yeah, go ahead.
Well, for SGF, like how I know you said you were very tired about that. Like this is kind of like one of your bigger exhausting events, right? Like where you just had a longer recovery time afterwards. But like, how does, as someone who's gone to E3 and GDC and PAX and SGF and like a bunch of other, what the Midwestern Gaming Classic or something like that, right? You've been to a really rad weekend. Like you've been to a lot of these sort of like gaming weekend convention kind of things. Like how does this past SGF kind of compare to those other ones?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of what we kind of already have gotten into of it is busy. It's more packed with appointments, assuming that you're taking advantage of the time that you have, which like, and granted, depending on what your goal is, you might have more or less appointments, and that could be valid. Like if my goal was to make sure I was like posting articles in a timely manner, I would inherently have less appointments, because it's like I'd want to put gaps to write. So like, that's, so it's gonna look a little different depending on what you want to do. If you're there to do video stuff, you might be sitting there editing. So it just is different for us, because I go on behalf of MinMax. So I'm going to get vlog coverage and podcast content. I book a lot of appointments. So it is very like booked back to back. And it can be booked back to back because the stuff is so close. Like at PAX, you can't really book a back to back appointment because you don't know where your stuff is going to be. And they could be really far apart. Depending on if it's PAX West or East, it could be in a freaking different building. So like you really cannot do that, because you won't be able to like hit them. While like, I can leave one appointment. I can leave it at the time the next appointment's starting and get to that next appointment within like 2 minutes, Yeah. So it is more stacked in that way, but it's also like, so it's harder in that sense, but it's easier in the other stuff that you mentioned. You are kind of, I don't want to say babied, because I think it's like they provide us the things that we need to do the work. It's like on one hand you could say, oh, like we're spoiled, we have like the ice cream truck, and like, yeah, you don't really need an ice cream truck to like be able to work, but it's like, we're here and we're just working all day. So like, yeah, we need to be fed, we need to be hydrated, and we need to be caffeinated. So they provide all of those things. It's like, yeah, I guess it could be provided in a whacker way, and that could still be valid, but like at the end of the day, they need to provide, coffee, water, beer, food. Maybe not beer, but I always say that because I say it's my joke of the coffee, water, beer trifecta. Though there is, I think, some alcoholic drinks at SGF. I don't partake because I'm working, and I'm very intense, like in general. So yeah, I probably need to hydrate a little bit better. I definitely need to hydrate better. I feel like I was dehydrated the whole weekend. I feel like I was hydrated when I got done with SGF. I was like drinking so much water, and I felt like it was never enough. So yeah, I definitely, next year I want to be better at hydrating and better at applying lip balm, because I feel like whenever I look at those vlogs, I'm like, feel like we're looking a little unmoistened, look a little weathered.
How
but yeah.
You mentioned that you were there for MinMax, and so like you were more intentional and just like playing more and experiencing more to be able to talk about it later, and like recording for the travel log and stuff here and there. But like when it comes to, I'm not gonna say a point of contention in the house, but a topic of discussion always is like the media rooms and like what those are like and how they compare and like what's good and what's bad. And so like what's your take on the SGF media room?
This year they redid it. Last year it was like way different. It was sort of the coffee shop that we have on the campus was like a media space, and also the space that Nintendo had was also a space that you could just sit and eat and write and do whatever. It was like that space, and they're like the whole space that Nintendo had. So there was like a front area that was kind of like grassy picnic vibes, and then a back area that was more of like a room warehouse kind of vibe. Like that back area where they had games in years past was a bar. Like picture like walking into a like almost like an airport bar where it's like there's just a bar and a bunch of seating. It was like that. So I think the media room, it looks very aesthetic and it's air conditioned, which is nice. But they have
nice.
like sofa seating that's like way lower than the table. So I feel like that sucks. The table's also small. They're like circle tables, which I think is really like not great for if you're sharing like a workspace with somebody. Again, I just go for mostly vlogging, podcasting, so I don't have to sit and write stuff. But every writer I knew complained about the media room this year because it didn't have any power strips. And when I talked about that on the pod on Remap, because I also do that podcast, so I was talking about that, and people were replying to me on like BlueSKy about it, and they're like, I can't believe that. They're like, I can't believe this. This is like this is like you know, a huge sin, because it's like that's the whole point, is that you need to charge your devices and work off devices. Frankly, even if you're a content creator, you probably need, you know, the phone charge, the camera charge. Like, it's crazy that it's not optimized for that. So that's insane. I do think it's nice they had little snacks there. That's cool, you know, convenient. They have, in general, SGF is laid out nicely for like hydration and drinks, because pretty much anywhere you are, you can go to like a close-ish place to get those things. Like, there isn't just like, oh, I can only get coffee from the coffee shop. It's like, you can probably get coffee from like the coffee shop. You can get it from HQ. You can maybe get like a can of like a caffeine thing from one of the like publishers or something. Like, you have a couple spots. In an area that's small, like having, you know, 2 to 3 instead of 1, it's like, that's gonna, you know, you can basically just get anywhere. Same for the bathrooms. It's like very easy to like go and to physically sustain yourself is very easy at SGF, which does make it a little bit cushier than, you know, a GDC. Well, I mean, GDC has like a little thing too, and they give you meal tickets, and all of that. But yeah, so I mean, I do think in terms of like looking whack though, the media room doesn't look whack, but it ended up being functionally whack. The thing that you and I are always talking about, that if you've heard the podcast, like every episode, you'll see the through line, is that a while ago, like when you went to, was it GDC? I think that was your first media room, which is also a nicer media room. The media rooms I'm talking about that are really like depressing are like, it's like a PAX like room that they emptied out and they put some tables. But again, those had power strips, so it's like it's functionally works. It's just kind of funny because a lot of times they're like a little bit dinky. Like there'll be like a water cooler and a couple Dixie cups, and it's like it's very unglamorous. Which, to be clear, is fine because you really just need to like get your stuff done. But it is like, the reason it's funny is because for a long time you're like, oh man, like you get to go in your secret special media room and I have to stay out here. And I'm like, it's dead ass just a room. Like it's usually just a room. The GDC one is probably the nicest media room because they have like coffee and a couple of donuts and stuff. But usually there's no food, there's no like anything. There's just the power strips. But the SGF had they had the bougie stuff, but they didn't have the power strips, which is crazy.
That is true, yeah.
But I think they did take the L on not having the power strips. I think that's pretty insane. But people were in there, they were using it and sitting in there. Mm-hmm. I went in there to dissociate at one point with some colleagues I knew, which was nice. It's, you know, it's good having people that you know and you can just go up to and be like, all right, I'm actually just going to sit here if that's chill. And it's like, yeah, great. Though, of course, it's also a great space to like meet people and network. And I am always of that mind when I'm doing these things because I am still inherently a freelancer. Like I do work for, you know, Minmax and Remap, but I am independent. I am available for hire, and I am always looking for work because that's the freelance gig. Why would I not be? So yeah, that's the other layer of stuff. So it's a fun time. It's like I'm toxic, so I enjoy times where I have to like work a fuck ton and like hang out a fuck ton, and you're just like pedal to the metal. And I like that. You know, it's done infrequently enough in my work years that I can manage doing it. It's like, okay, lock in for this like couple days. That's really not too bad. But yeah, but they're intense days. They're fun. Yeah, I really enjoy going to SGF, and it's been fun going for several years and getting to be, you know, pseudo on the ground floor. I wasn't the first one, but I've been to this is like, I think this is my either third or fourth one, probably third. I did one with,
I was going to say third or fourth,
with Leo and Sarah. I did one with Kelsey and Jacob, and I did this one. I don't know if I had another. Oh, I did one with Ben and Charles. So yeah, this is my fourth one. Yeah, so this is my fourth one. And it's cool. You know, I talked about that I was on the Game Informer podcast, which I'll repost when I see it. I forget when it's going out. It probably already went out, honestly. I gotta dig for that. But that was like one of my closing like thoughts on the show, just saying that it's easy to be very pessimistic on the games media space, and I think there is validity in that, and I think we definitely should be talking about, the layoffs we've experienced, the bad working conditions, the like acquisition / homogenization of the space, and how that's bad. The importance of the press, all of those things. Like, I don't think we should shy away from that at all. But I also think, we are still out here. Like, every time I do this show, people who are in press come up to me and say, there's no press left. But I'm in press and they're in press. So there's some press left. It's like, I think sometimes we downplay our own existence in the space a bit. And I think I do push back against that. And one thing I think is cool about SGF in particular is, it sucks E3's dead, that the space is, quieter than it used to be. But this is a newish thing. And like, I've been here since almost the beginning of it. You've now been here at the earlier times. If this show goes on for 10, 20 years, we're eventually going to be those old people who are being like, I was at SGF 2026. Oh my God, that's crazy. Like, one day that's going to be crazy. The way we would hear people say, oh, I was at E3 2005 and stuff or whatever. I don't know if E3 was around. I forget the years E3 ran, so don't at me about that. But I think there's something really cool about that. And there's, I know a pessimist would say, oh, it's not going to get old enough for it to matter. But it's like, I don't know. That's how I look at it. So it's an exciting show to get to do. And this was one of, I think, the stronger years. There was a lot of big output in the AAA space. Again, Nintendo was there for the first time ever. Only third party, but they were still there. But yeah, now that we've, really set the scene on overall feeling of the show, what it's like to go, what it was like for you as a first timer, let's get into some of the video games we played. How do you want to do this? Do we want to just start with maybe like the hottest and then go down based on time? Do you want to just go in?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start with you. What was your, like, one of your games of the show, with a light nod to the fact that there actually are still a couple embargoes still in play, so we won't talk about everything we played, but we can talk about almost everything we played. So what's one you want to shout out?
I mean, I think if there was ever a game that I play and I was like, yep, I'm ready for this to come out whenever, I'm buying it day one, strangely enough, Escape Academy 2. I am a big puzzle escape room. We played Escape Academy 1 together. Like, I am so ready for Escape Academy 2. I cannot wait for that to come. Shout out to my girl Elena, I think was her name. Just another random person who was at SGF who I got assigned to play the game with. But we killed it. We beat it in like such a quick time, and we did all the side missions and found all the other things you could do in the demo and everything. It was a great time. I want to play more of this game.
Nice. Did you get? Was there anything that like got you tripped up while you were playing it? I know the dev is also there. Did you have like? Did you need like a little?
Yeah.
A little boosty.
There was so the game was sort of like just a small slice, I think, towards kind of like the beginning of the game. And so like the only real intervention from the dev while we were playing were kind of like things that maybe you would have gotten in like an earlier part tutorial wise, like, oh, like how to crouch, or, your action buttons and like kind of what they do. Like, they kind of more threw you in there for sake of time, just to like give you as much time as you could to like explore the area and everything. So like there was some stuff there, but like holistically, no, like we killed it. We were banging out puzzles left and right. It was awesome.
Nice. Was it obviously it's just like a small slice of the game, but how'd you feel in terms of like difficulty compared to the first one, and then also intrigue compared to the first one?
Ooh, I would say definitely more intrigue for sure. Difficulty is probably on par, right? I'm sure some things are going to be a little bit harder, some things are going to be a little bit easier, but I think in general it'll be fairly equivalent. But the intrigue is higher because the like the world of the game is different. So in the first one, you kind of were given just this map, and then from the map you're kind of like picking and choosing which campus or which room or which area you want to kind of like go into and do the puzzles there. Now it's kind of like full open world, and I say that with like air quotes, because this isn't like a GTA, right? It's an open campus that you can explore and find like little puzzles all throughout, scattered throughout, and like little missions that you can do on the side, and like, you know, another fellow student might give you like a quest to retrieve them like a snack from a snack machine, and the snack machine is like a Sudoku puzzle that you have to figure out in order to get the right thing. And it's like, okay, cool. Like there's a lot more little things scattered all throughout to keep you enticed and to keep you like on the, you know, chasing the carrot to like get to the next thing. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I actually, this is a rare circumstance, but this is actually the second time they've been at SGF. They were there last year as well. So I played the game last year. And it was also echo a lot of your thoughts. I loved it. I thought it still seems really fun. There's not a lot of games that exist in this style of this like co-op. You're each kind of like asynchronously doing activities towards like a shared goal. It's just really fun. It's really unique. And yeah, I love that they're taking this like sort of campus setting to sort of, I don't know, I like the fact that there's more puzzles potentially kind of thing, just in that structure inherently, where it's like, oh, there's stuff you can do on the side, I think is really enticing, because this is one of those games where genuinely, I mean, there is a version where like it could be too long for sure, like any game, but this is one of those games where like I really just want more content all the time, because like the fun is really in getting to like tinker with something and try to figure it out. So it was cool seeing you play that. I was a little bummed that we couldn't get to preview it together, but I was like,
yeah, I know.
I sort of like circled the block on that appointment because I had already played it, but I know that you hadn't played it, so I wanted to make sure that you got in there to check it out. But yeah, Escape Academy 2. One of my games of the show is a boring and obvious answer, but it's Control Resonant. That shit was real fucking good, and I am not someone who likes to be too intense on what I say during like a preview, because inherently it's a very small sense of the game. You know, there's more to be seen. Like even whether it's good or bad, I do try to like lightly couch it in a way that I don't feel the need to when it's like just a full build or something, because it's, you know, the whole game versus a slice. So it's like, you know, you don't get too caught up where you're like, oh, this is definitely whack, and then it ends up being good, whatever, right? This is one where I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, I feel so confident that this is good. Like, I don't need to add we'll see. Like, I've seen what I need to see. This game seems incredible. For those who need a refresher, it is, I would say the sequel to Control. Some people would argue it's almost like tangential, because it's not necessarily, you know, it's not following Jesse Faden. It's following Dylan Faden, which is Jesse's brother. Jesse does have some type of presence in the game, though, for sure. She's very much positioned as a haunting the narrative kind of character. No idea where they're going to take it, you know, if she's going to appear or be playable, if there'll be sequences. Like, I don't know anything about that, but you can like see sort of, you're wondering, trying to figure out what journey she's going on. So again, she's definitely going to play a role in the game, but she plays Dylan Faden. The big change here is Control was a game that had, you know, these kind of supernatural sci-fi elements, of course, but mechanically it was gunplay. You had this kind of morph gun that could change into different types of guns, and that's how you would fight. Again, you'd do other things. You had powers, so you'd have like telekinetic powers to like throw debris at people, but you were shooting. It was a game where you shot. This is a melee game. And it feels great. I think they do a good job making you feel like you have like contact in your hit, which is like probably the number one key component to what you need in good melee feel. But they also seem like they have a really nice range of styles that your melee can take on. So it is still kind of a morphing weapon. It's like a pole that can turn into different things. And out the gate, they have you pick between like, it's giving Pokemon, right? You have like 3 options to pick from. I picked more of a range take on the weapon, because that's my style. And then very early on, you hit like another upgrade, and it's like, okay, what do we want now? And we voted on the what I call the big bonk hammer. It's like a giant heavy attack that's, you know, mapped to like R2 or something. And it's what you would think, you know, 2-handed, big swing, big mallet that kind of comes down. And that felt awesome, and also was like kind of just the right level of stupid. You know, it's like, I think something that's not an unsung, because I do think people praise this in Control, the first one, the Control 1, But the humor of these games and the absurdity is such like an appealing part, and getting to have some of that in the combat, like hitting people with this giant hammer, it's like, yeah, like I like that. That's really cool. They're doing other funky stuff with traversal where you're like essentially like Jesus flying through the air. You know, you can like levitate super high up. You can like do a dash glide. It's very like you're kind of just floating through everything. But in a way that I think is still going to be compelling. I think it's also going to make like traversing and getting around really fun, and kind of mixing that in with combat. I jumped ahead to some of the later parts of the game as well for just a very short amount of time, like a minute, because I had another appointment to get to, and got to see what is it like when more of the mechanics are open up and more abilities are in conversation with each other. And yeah, felt even better. You know, you're hitting the perfect dodge, and then you're like refilling these meter. Like, it is just such a good and exciting game feel. And of course, all of the fun Remedy weirdness is in here. You know, we fought the giant face mask lady who is like floating through the you know, the sort of battle arena, and we were like in this dream space where we're also like walking past like old game systems. Like, it had all of that cool stuff going on. I feel so confident in this game. Yeah, really loved what I played of it. But Isaiah, you of course were there joining me on my appointment as well. What did you make of the experience, especially as someone that didn't love the gunplay feel of Control, which, while I disagree with you, you are not alone. You're there with Patrick. You're there with a few other critics that I know who don't love the gun feel. What did you make of the melee combat?
There are dozens of us. I thought the melee combat was a huge upgrade from the gunplay of Control, and by extension Alan Wake as well. I don't think either of those have incredible gun feel and like shooting. I'm not gonna say mechanisms, but like, I don't know, the shooting is not something I would not recommend someone who enjoys a good shooter to play these for the shooting, right? Someone who likes a fun action game, I would recommend that they maybe keep Control on their radar, because that game, like you said, it did feel good. It seems like they're giving you enough like variance in the type of melee combat that you want. Do you want slow and heavy? Do you want quick and fast with long reach? Do you want something in between? Do you want to, you know, mix and match other abilities kind of like in the middle of combat? It's much faster. It's much, you know, snappier in the attacking and everything than you would think coming from like a Control 1 or Alan Wake. While still, like you said, mentioning, keeping that weirdness, that goofy weirdness that you get with Remedy. So, I mean, I'm super excited to play more of it. It felt good. It played good. It sounded good. It looked good. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be good. You know what I mean? Like, I am excited to see more of this game later.
Nice. All right. What's another one you got?
For me, one that kind of came out of nowhere for me, at least, was Mr. Records.
I'm
was
so
at
jealous
Day of the
that I
Devs.
didn't play this, because so many people have been glazing Mr. Records.
It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm game meets like shop management kind of thing, but like it doesn't go super heavy into either. At least from what I played, almost like I heard someone describe it as what's that game that was it Melancholy?
I will find it. I know Melatonin, I think.
Melatonin. Melatonin meets
Yes.
like a shopkeeper kind of thing. I thought it was really cool. You play as this old man who has a lifelong dream of opening up a record shop because he loves music, and when he goes to sleep, he dreams of like records and songs, and his dreams are the levels that you play, the rhythm levels that you play, where it's like you have to like perform actions on the beat, and you know, jumps and slides and dashes and kicks and punches and stuff like that. All, you know, nothing I played was like excruciatingly hard or anything like that, but I'm sure maybe it does ramp up over time. Very cute art style, right? This like very like colorful line art, like, Illustrator-esque kind of art to it, which I think is super cute. And then so that happens when you're sleeping. When you wake up, you go downstairs to your record shop, you open it up, and then it's almost like a little good pizza, great pizza kind of puzzle where someone comes in
right,
and
they're looking
for a type of song, and you have to match the person to the song, or to the one of the records, and you unlock the records when you're sleeping.
I haven't
you
played
eventually
this
build
yet.
up your repertoire.
I haven't played this game yet, but I know Haley did the demo and liked it. I love the concept of it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. We have the game. It's in our Steam library. You can play it anytime. You should try Wax Heads, because that's also that leans a little bit more narrative. So I don't know if it'll be your jam, but it's a similar thing of people come up and they want a certain record, and you have to kind of figure out what record they want. So it's like, it's not like narrative in that. I don't think it's going for like a super heartfelt story necessarily. That it's just that. It's kind of like, again, good pizza, great pizza, where you have like these little puzzles, but like leaning more into like the challenge of figuring out stuff. Yeah, you should check that out, because I'd be curious what you think. I've been wanting to play it. It's just, I only have so much time, so I'm kind of, it's in the pile, and it's slowly maybe inching its way up for me in stuff that I get to. But another one that I have, let's see, where do I want to go? I'm gonna go over to Sonic Pico Park, actually, for one I want to shout out. Let me make sure I also have the name of it right, because I kept calling it Sonic Pico 8, because it's like, I don't know, Pico Park, they kind of blend together. But it's called Sonic Pico Park. It is from the game series Pico Park. If you've played that, it's that. But Sonic, if you haven't played that, the structure is that you're cute little guys, and you're solving kind of environmental puzzles to get to the end of the level. Left to right level structure, 2D, super minimalistic level design. Like the levels are essentially just almost like temp assets. Like it's just like the wall is just like a blue wall. Like, and it's all, the floor looks the same as the wall, looks the same as whatever. There are a couple other like things that will come up, like springs or cranes or whatever, but it's very minimalistic. So like, everything kind of looks the same. It has like a very game design centered look to it. Another thing to pull on to give people a sense of what kind of game this is, if you've played Box Boy, it's like Box Boy, but you move a bit faster, because Box Boy is a little bit more like meticulous and usually like a smaller game space. But the big thing about this is that it's co-op, so you can play it with I don't know if you can play it alone. I think you need at least one person, because it's described on Steam as like play locally or online with 2 to 8 players. Maybe you can control something else. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look into that. But yeah, the fun of it really is though from that multiplayer element. I played this with 3 other people. It was, not gonna lie, playing this with 3 random people, a little bit awkward. The energy was like not super like, I don't know. I feel like I was playing with like 3 random dudes, and I feel like their energy was kind of like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't know. I still like the game a lot. It just was like it's tough to play a co-op game with strangers, just inherently. But we got through it. We solved the little puzzles. And what's, I guess, the Sonic of it all is that it leans into elements of Sonic's moveset. So you have like the gotta go fast, spiral circle things to go around. You have some of the characters' abilities. So you have like this, go into a ball and speed up. You have the like flying of Tails, the gliding of Knuckles. Like you have little things like that make it like Sonic specific. But yeah, it's a really cool, really fun, just delightful game. I liked it a lot. So that's my little shout out.
That was a fun one to watch you play.
Yeah, you were recording and wincing in the background.
Yeah, even not playing myself, it was fun seeing you have to work with these like 3 strangers on a very cooperative game where no one is really, I'm not gonna say interested in working together, but like everyone has almost their own objective while you were playing. It's like, oh, one person's just kind of having fun. You're like, I'm trying to accomplish things. Everyone's like,
See,
oh, I'm Sonic, I'm Knuckles. Like, it was
especially-
fun, you know?
Especially too being, not that I want to like, oh, I'm gonna morph myself for patriarchal standards, but it's like, look, I don't want to be like the fucking bitch of this session, but like, y'all need to lock it. So, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay. And then I also, you know, just to the social situation, the challenge of it, I don't know these people's names. I don't know who these guys are. Apologies if they knew who I was. I didn't know who they were. So it's like, okay, who are you? And also, who's Knuckles or whatever? It's like kind of a weird situation. Yeah. So it's just kind of, I don't know. Yeah. And it was interesting. It was interesting. I don't know. I feel like people weren't ready to like to Pico party at the function. It's kind of like the vibe I got. Where it's like, oh, I was like, the game looks so cute, yippee, and then like it was like just like men. Like I don't know, like and it just very like, and not, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just kind of a weird vibe. It was giving like, hey, how's your show? And they'd be like, good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I'm not exactly I don't know, Miss Friendly either. But I play the part when I'm at these things because it's like you kind of need to be like, you know, it's a very,
kind of
like,
need to be.
It's a very on kind of. Maybe that's why I end up so tired because I'm like, hi, like what's up, like anyway. But yeah, it was a little funny. And then talking to other people who played where they're like, oh, in my session was like 3 of my best friends in the industry, and I'm like, in my session it was like 3 men I never met and never will meet again, and then like okay, shout out to y'all if you're listening to this, but it was a little bit okay, so what do we think we need to do? Like, I don't know, teacher mode. I felt like I was like, okay, I think maybe we haven't succeeded yet. So why don't we think about what we have to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was fun. And it'll be really fun playing with you and maybe other people. Would be a great new show plus. Imagine getting the full Min-Max crew. That would be really fun.
Oh my god.
Because we all fit in there.
I wonder if
it supports up to 8. I think we're 8. Sorry if I'm miscounting us.
Yeah, I know like Pico in general supports up to 8. I don't know if the Sonic supports up to 8, but if it does,
yeah.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And they did say that at the session at one point. I don't forget when. But yeah, I think we're 8, right? Peter Bang is 4. Are the men 4?
Leo, Ben,
Leo, Jacob, Kyle.
Jeffem? Someone's getting left out.
God damn it. At one point, we were 8 people. So, okay. One of us will not be able to make it. Well, guess what? Scheduling wise, 8 of us probably aren't free at once.
Someone's going to not. Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, we'll see. But that's sad. It'll be everyone but one person. That's so sad. Okay, we'll figure something out. What's something else that you want to shout out? Also, I know we're slowly running up on our normal games time. I'm cool making this just like a longer games session. I feel like we have like a lot of games to talk about. So what's something else you want to give a tip of the hat to?
I would love to give a tip of the hat to my arms are longer now.
Really? I was surprised by this one.
Yeah, it is was it the developer Toot Games? I think it's their debut games, but I think it's a brother and sister, husband and wife. It's a duo who there's some relation there between them.
I'll try to look it up. Toot Games.
Yeah, and I believe it was the woman who also has like you might have come across her like animation miniseries stuff. It's like Mr. Longhead or Mr. Longnose or something like that on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or something like that. So the art style is like very good, very much almost like an Adult Swimmy home movies kind of like jankiness to it, but like it is done very well. Love the art style. What the game is it's a sort of like stealthy puzzle game. Think something similar to a Untitled Goose Game where you kind of like are in these levels and you have like objectives that you need to do, and you are just an arm that can grow and shrink and grab things and like perform an action, and your goal is to accomplish whatever the goals are, and so but the awesome part kind of to it is that it's also like very comedic. A lot of people have compared it, I feel like, to Thank Goodness You're Here, but I find that it is as frequently like the comedic density is high like a Thank Goodness You're Here, but the type of comedy I think is different from Thank Goodness You're Here. Thank Goodness You're Here I think is much more of a like adult fart jokes and like, you know, dick jokes and things like that.
Whereas many dick jokes and things. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, because my hesitation on My Arms Are Longer Now was the like what kind of humor it would really be, which like looking at the gameplay, it didn't look like it'd be like a dick joke kind of game, but like, and not that, again, I want to go on record and say I don't have a problem with dick jokes. I have a problem with non-stop dick jokes, because I just feel like it gets a little like less is more when it comes to like I think any type of humor, really. It's like you want it to feel a little more varied. But no, I'm glad to hear that. How did you feel about like the puzzles and like level of complexity? Is this dumb friendly?
Oh yeah, I think it's dumb friendly, and it's dumb friendly in the sense of like, oh yeah, like I think, I mean, man, I don't know, I don't know of a comedy game I've seen you play and would be like, oh, Janet loved this, but I think if anything has a good shot, it's this, just because it is more on the like the dumb side, but not stupid, if that makes any sense. Like, as an example, right? The one of the mission is, it's a very short demo that I played. But like you're on this train and your goal is to like steal this briefcase from this woman, and she has it almost like CIA agent. It's like locked to her wrists, like with, you know, like handcuffs or whatever, right? And so like the whole idea is like, oh, you have to figure out like where's the key, how to get the key, how to steal the key, and then use the key to get the briefcase, and then get the briefcase, kind of thing, right? Very straightforward. But like, of course, being dumb, the first thing I do is I just go up and I just try to grab the briefcase and like run with it, and like she just screams hysterically like as soon as you grab it, and it was like just such a dumb, funny kind of moment that I was like, oh hell yeah, like if this is the kind of dumb jokes that are going to be in here of like, and then as soon as you let go, she's like, oh I'm sorry, I overreacted there, or like it's like,
that's cute.
It's almost like a British humor kind of thing, I think, but like, and I think they might be from like Melbourne or somewhere,
Australia,
right, where it's like Australia, yeah, and it's like I get that sense of like dumb foreign humor, but it is funny to me as an American, as like a dumb American.
Also, I could not find out what their relationship to each other is, but yeah, you're right. They are a duo, Matthew Jackson and Millie Holton. And on their website, they also cite their dog Ruby as CFO of the company. And Ruby's a greyhound, which is cute.
That's pretty good.
And they're little friends. So, and this is also the first, I believe it's the first game published by Jackbox outside of like the Jackbox Games stuff. You know, Jackbox is of course known for their their party games. You know, the party packs they've done. I think they've done a couple things that have like sort of somewhat broken off. Like you can buy like Survey Scramble like on its own. But this is their first time kind of venturing more into like outside of that realm. And I guess this would be the first thing that isn't just like self-devved, self-published kind of thing, I believe. So, new territory for them. It'll be interesting to see what, as a publisher, publishing games that aren't made like in-house, what their style kind of ends up being. It seems like maybe it will lean towards these like kind of more funny comedic experiences. But yeah, so all right, I'm back in, because I kind of was like, that was my big hesitation with My Arms Are Longer. Is the humor, which I don't know, that might still not work for me, but I'm more down to try it.
Yes.
Now, because after Thank Goodness You're Here, like I've never been the same. I've never been the same after playing that game. My next one, I think I'm gonna go with, Blood Dragon, because God forbid we run out of time on this episode to talk about Blood Dragon.
Dungeon?
What?
Blood Dungeon?
Oh yeah, Blood Dungeon. Sorry, yeah. Blood Dungeon. This was like, for me, this came out of nowhere for me. I signed up for this. There are some appointments that just in general in life, and definitely at SGF, where you like don't really know what you're signing up for. It might just be you only know like the publisher, you might know the developer, you might know like this type of game, but like sometimes it's just like not known. There are also instances in this career where you're like, I don't know, have to like agree to like an NDA to even like know, like it's like, oh, you signed up for something, but you don't know what it is. So there are times where you don't know what you're signing up for, and Blood Dungeon was one of them. When I signed up for this game, I only knew that it was from the creators of Nidhogg. Messoff is the studio and publisher of this game. I love Nidhogg, so I said, yeah, I'll try that. How bad can it be kind of vibe, you know? That's like basically my my thought process. And funnily enough, I had this booked for like the end of the day. It was like Sunday, like 7:00. So late that like I forget the show even runs that late, because I think for previous years it didn't. It would like start earlier and thus end earlier. So I pulled up to this, saw it was Blood Dungeon. I believe at the time of playing this, I knew a little bit about it. Someone else had talked to me about the game, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's Vampire Survivors, but a platformer." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool," because I love platformers, and I like Vampire Survivors. I never became like wildly obsessed, but I did enjoy that game, and I played a lot of Goobies, which is a Vampire Survivors like, where you're the little goo guys, and I enjoyed that a lot. I love this game. I think this game is fantastic. I think if you like platformers and are at least open to the Vampire Survivors type formula, it is a must wish list, must play, must check out. I think you can also enjoy this game if you don't like platformers, because the platforming is very chill. You are essentially like, the structure of the game is you have sort of like a dungeon like play area. You can't ever see like the whole thing per screen. You kind of go like around, and eventually like it's not wildly big, but you can't like see it all at once. You only see like a couple pieces of it. The dungeon look, at least in the first one we played, kind of has like the energy of like a Mario castle, but with the art of like MS Paint. So it has, you know, brooding like brown bricks, and like
that's a really good way of putting it.
It has like little spikes, and it kind of has like a ominous energy to it. Something that's unique to this is there's a lot of ladders in it. One thing that really stood out to me is it has the fucking Mario World climb on the the nets, which is like one of my favorite things to do in a video game. It's missing the punch through to the other side, because I think they maybe would get sued for that. So that's not in there, but they do have that, and that's really fun. The reason that I say that you don't need to like platformers to enjoy this is you don't need to really be good at platforming to be able to do it, because it is you can crawl on like the walls and hang on the walls. So you're not exactly like hitting jumps in terms of like, oh my god, I have this tough platforming section. Like the degree of platforming is very casual. It's like big space to big space, and there's like things you can hang on before that. Very rarely was I thinking, oh my god, I have to make this jump. It's just that you happen to be jumping a lot, and that's what makes it a platformer. I've also seen people compare this to Spelunky, but I cannot speak to that. I don't know if you can, Isaiah, because I never played Spelunky actually. So it looks kind of like the level structure, I mean, in a way, but that's all I can.
Yeah,
maybe they're tripping. Some people also don't make great comparisons, but someone did say that, so I wasn't sure how true that was or not. Sounds like maybe not as much in your perspective.
No, I think it's similar in the sense of like it's a 2D up and down side scrolling kind of like space, world that you're like space layout that you're in. Yeah, and like inherently the theme is somewhat related in that like Spelunky you're going through like a dungeon cave kind of thing, and in this you're in a dungeon, but like gameplay wise I would not compare the two at all. So I don't know. I think I did play a little bit of it as well. You were like abnormally good at it, which I don't know, maybe biasly that's giving you so a bigger maybe that's why you like it so much.
I liked it before I got good at it, because I played one session and I died, because it's it's one of those kinds of you're gonna be dying a lot and unlocking stuff and all that. So I died, and I was like, okay, cool, let me go again. It's that time of my appointment. When I went again, I did not fucking die. I ran that shit for like, the appointment was like 30 minutes. I was in that second session for like 20 minutes. I was like,
Yeah.
and it's funny because like we always talk about how like respectfully PR were often kind of they'll be nice to you. They're just being polite. It's their job. But they always do the thing of, oh my God, you're like really good at it. And if you suck, they'll be like, oh, that part's really hard. Like it's just kind of a meme at this point amongst press. And I know that PR knows that we also think like, come on, like it's not real. Like, you have to be pretty green to think that this is true. But I was so good at it before anyone even said anything. I was like, no, I know I'm fucking kicking ass at this. Like it's because by way of what the goal is, like the goal is to get to the end. So the end, it's like level based. Like you're within the dungeon, but you're kind of unlocking levels. It'll be like level 5, level 6, level 7. I forget what level it like goes to, at least in the one we played. But it's filling up a meter. You can kind of see it. And then you have like different bosses appear, and they're basically just like big ass enemies. And it's like, oh, you kill one of those and you have to kill a certain amount to like win. And I beat the fucking thing. Like I mean, again, beat the game's dramatic. It probably has like a cajillion of these dungeons to go into. So like, like it, like any game like this, it's like, it's meant to be played a lot, and you can like win in different configurations. Like there's also different characters you can play as.
Yeah.
Like, we did a very like default character 1, level 1 kind of thing is what we stepped into for this demo session. But still, I fucking did that shit, and I was just like, it was beautiful to behold. I mean, like any good game with these sort of like procedural generated elements, or like rogue elements, or whatever you want to call it, survivors elements. It's exciting to see like the synergies form. So I was getting stuff like, okay, I make more money in this category, and now also like stuff is cheaper, so I think the chests are appearing more, so I can, because also the structure of like what you're doing, you're running around in space, it's auto shooting, you want to kill all the enemies. That is inherently your baseline goal. Within that, there's also like kind of sub goals you might have. So there's chests that you can open where they're like behind gates that are like money gated. So it's like, oh, get a certain amount of money, and then you can open that, and those chests have rewards. There's also chests that aren't like that, and they give you like upgrades as well. There's also keys you can get that open like doorways that make like the pathing maybe easier to like get around, because you want to be able to like quickly maneuver and run around and get away from enemies. So like, but none of it is like explicitly service to you. So it's kind of interesting because like you'll find a door and it's like green key, and then you'll run around, you'll find the green key, and then you're kind of like, fuck, where's the green door? And then you're sort of trying to figure out how you might find that again to open it up. Yeah, very chaotic, very fun. But yeah, just the platforming element of it, I'm so comfortable and happy maneuvering in a space like that. So I just was like, this is one of those ones. This is like, I haven't felt this way about a game since fucking Dogpile, where that was like I was like, get behind me, Dogpile. We're gonna make it to the hopefully the min-max top 10 of the top 20 of the year with 210s. But I really like this a lot. But yeah, I was also really fucking good at it, and I was feeling myself. Like, it's funny, I should have said hi to him because he came up. I believe Steven Totillo came up while I was playing to like try to see if he could get a slot. And I was, and I really like respect Steven's work over at GamePile. And I was just thinking like, if only I would die, like Steven could play, but like I'm never gonna die because I'm so good at the game. And I was also thinking like, oh, I was just like thinking about like how I'm like, oh, I'm so good at this game. It was just a good time. And then when I was done, they gave me the, you're only the second person this weekend to have beaten it or whatever. I don't know if that's true. It probably is, honestly, because they were,
it probably was true.
Yeah, and they were also really chill about it. They really they kind of tried to de-glazify it because they're like, well, the demo's online and plenty of people online have done this. It's not like you're super cracked at it. But no, I had a really good run. Something else I want to shout out with this game is it has really, while it's kind of like in that grossness that Nidhogg is, it kind of has that fleshy look to it. It's also like quite like cute and charming, even though it's kind of like gross looking, because it is like that soft like MS Paint style of art, and the animation work on the little characters you play is so good, because like we were like the default like guy, he's got like a blue like costume on, and he has these little arms, and his arms just flail nonstop while he's running, and I love that. It's so cute. It's like, it's got like a derpy cuteness to it that's really like nice as well. But yeah, obviously a lot more to be seen. Not no details on like when it's coming out or anything yet. It just has that like classic coming soon. So, you know, we'll see what ends up happening, but definitely like go wishlist this. The demo's out now. I believe it's the same demo we played. So you guys can also play it and see if you're as cracked as I am at this game. Probably not, but that's okay. You know, you'll get there.
Not everyone can be.
But yeah, I love Blood Dungeon. But no, I was so I know I keep talking about how good I was. I was so good at this when I was playing. I was like, Isaiah, get the camera out. Like, document this.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, I am doing such a good run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really felt God in the Chili's that night. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And it's pseudo my style of game. Again, I wasn't a huge Vampire Survivors head, but I did dabble in some things, and I'm like, oh, this seems like it's made for me in the way that like Dogpile kind of was as well. So, yep, love that game. What's something else that you are really excited to shout out and have people get into?
Ooh, almost on the opposite end of visual quality, but not in a sense of art. The Out of Words demo that we played together.
Yeah, this is also on my list.
Where, yeah, I'm kind of stealing it from you. Where Blood Dungeon is very MS Paint and crunchy art, Out of Words is like claymation, very handcrafted, bespoke animation that like just looks very beautiful. It is another 2D platformer with co-op, at least presumably fully co-op. I played the demo with you and we were able to play together. You play as these two kids who I do not remember if they shared some of the like lore reason behind it or whatever, but they don't have a mouth. They lose their mouths.
It's kind of like an emotional metaphor thing. It's something like they lost their voice kind of thing because of anxiety or something. Like, I know that genuinely kind of sounds like I'm bullshitting. That is actually part of what they were talking about. So it's like
wow, it'd be dismissive, Janet.
Well, because I feel like the way I said it sounds like, I don't know, it's anxiety or something. But I'm like, no, literally, they were like, it's like some type of like anxious over the world, like lost their ability to speak, and now they have to just sort of like communicate through like the mechanics of the game is essentially why.
Yeah.
It's why they have no mouth.
Yeah. And mechanically the demo that we played focused heavily on like gravity flipping, where like one person was always kind of flipped from the other person, and like there were levels and puzzles and things you had to like collaboratively work together on to like make work and figure out. And it also had kind of like one mechanic that I thought was very interesting in this kind of a game, especially being co-op, is that like there was also a part in the game where you effectively had an item that flipped your gravity and you could pass the item back and forth between the players. And I don't know about you, but I loved that little segment of the game. Like that small little change of like taking your your VVVVV, your
which I really gotta play that. Let me put this on my list.
Yeah. Like these, like, you know, those kind of games, but then making it co-op and then starting to lean into like, well, what are some fun things that we can do as a co-op with this mechanic, right? It's like, oh, okay, cool. You know, like, again, we had the level where we're passing it back and forth while trying to not like one person has the item so that they're flipped and they're safe on the ground, and then the other person is like falling to their death, and it's like, oh well, let me pass it to you so that you can kind of recover a little bit, but then I'm gonna start falling to my death, and like you kind of got to do this like song and dance, and it's funny because like we weren't, I don't know how much you realized in the moment, but like while playing, we were not talking. Like almost like the kids, it was very much just like a vibe we felt between.
Yeah, I was
each
kind
other.
of harnessing like the men at the Psycho Pico Park. I'm like, I'm not really gonna talk to you actually. But no, I mean, I think what actually happened, sort of, it's like I feel like that is we didn't need to talk though, is the thing. Like we talked a little bit at first, but then you really do, and I think this is a nice mirroring of like what they're kind of trying to do in the game, and what the dev kind of talked a little bit about when we were done, of the like you kind of end up getting in sync. It's like we didn't need to talk because it's like what was happening was really clear, and our section ended in this really like nice moment of you're traversing just through the sky, and so you're just like passing it back and forth. And I don't know how you were playing that. Maybe you would just have like you inherently have more rhythm than I do. You're better at rhythm games. You're better at dancing. You're better at moving through space and not falling down. Like, you're just more rhythmic than I am. So maybe you just fell into it. But I was like kind of counting beats in my head for how we were like passing it at the end, because I kind of liked, we had like a very like perfectly like metronomed out timing that I wanted to keep. So I would kind of be like, it was like 1 and 2 pat, dude. Yeah, so that was really fun. But yeah, you kind of end up just like hitting like a nice flow where it's like we kind of both see what's happening. You can kind of figure out like when to do it. Because I think also there are instances in like cooperative play where if it's too much back and forth instruction, it becomes like, by the time I hear you tell me what to do, like I already need to have done something. Like you kind of just need to figure it out. So yeah, I really liked that element of it. I thought it was cute. They had like, the object was sort of this little character. He was kind of like a fish guy or something. So I thought that was cute. Yeah,
like a little stingray or something.
Yeah, or like a manta ray or something. He was like one of those flat fishes, or aquatic creatures or whatever. But my big takeaways from this game, like I liked it a lot too. I had it on my list of things to shout out. It's very pretty. It also controls like very nicely. I feel like sometimes games have like a good look to them, but they don't feel like great to move around in. I thought this felt really nice. The kind of both pro and con I throw out about this game is it seems like it'll be somewhat simplistic. So I think it's going to be more on the unravel side of things, but even less puzzly than that. I think it's going to feel more like an experiential game than a like super exciting mechanical thing. But I think that'll be like enough. Like I feel like the vibe I get from the preview is like, I think this is going to be like a fun and good game to play that might be just a little bit limited in how intriguing the mechanics might end up getting. But I thought what we played was fun enough and felt good enough that like it is something that I'm like, it gets my stamp of approval. But that's sort of the light limitation that I see in it. Like I don't know how cool like what we're doing is going to end up getting, or how engaging it'll be the whole time through. But yeah, I also thought it was cool that was a demo that they did. They gave us like slices out of order. They were like, this is towards the end of the game, this is the beginning, this is like the middle, and they kind of cut it up in a way that I thought was fun, but also gave them a chance to show more of what they wanted to show. Another one I want to give a nod to, I guess some of mine are just Day of the Devs. I might just chunk those together. So do you have like a non Day of the Devs thing to nod to that you want to make sure we touch on?
I have this is also another one that we both played. It was, let me make sure I get the name right, Demi and the Fractured Dream.
Yeah.
This is, I think you dubbed it the Wind Waker like.
Yeah.
In that like you play this little like, I don't know, sword creature, you know, this guy with a sword, your little guy with a sword, and you go around and you can like lock on and you can attack and you can slice and you can do this and do that. And like the game, describing the game feels very like a disservice to the game. Like describing the game, it's very much, oh yeah, you're kind of like in a dungeon and you gotta like jump over these like broken down stairs and then flip a switch so that this like wall comes down. It's like very monotonous sounding, but like the execution of it was actually very interesting and fun. And I think that like the Wind Wakerness of it, without it feeling like it was trying to be a Zelda clone, actually kind of like gave it some really nice legs for me. Like it felt like a game that I could go into and it would feel familiar without it feeling like it was copying something.
Yeah. I mean, I think I lightly push back on the cloneness of it. It does feel like a Zelda clone, but it feels like a good Zelda clone, I think, is kind of what I would flip it, but then also like add something similar to it. Because I play this and I'm like, obviously you made a Zelda game. But sometimes when I play a game where it's like you made a Zelda game, it feels like a little too, maybe this is what you're getting at, it almost feels a little too obvious. It's like, okay, we smashed the pie, we got the tunic. Like, this feels like there's just enough other stuff going on that it like warrants itself. I think specifically what I liked about this is the combat felt like really nice. And frankly, the combat kind of felt better than it normally feels in traditional Zelda, if I'm being honest. It just felt a little snappier. And when I say traditional Zelda, I'm talking like the, like handheld Zelda, like more old school, not necessarily like, the modern, because I think the modern takes on Zelda, the combat has been more interesting to me because of the way it like is like chunked with the abilities that you have. But normally when it's like I'm just fighting an enemy, it's like it's a little dry usually in a Zelda game. But it's fine because you can do a lot of other stuff. This feels like it has the other stuff and the combat, and the combat's better. So I'm kind of like, this seems pretty sick. Something that I want to shout out to you specifically, Isaiah, go to their Steam page and watch their trailer, because it also seems like it has elements of some other games and styles. Like deadass, there's a part where you're like sliding on the sand, and that just looks like fucking Journey. Which I'm not mad at that, because that was like one of the best things I did in Journey was slide on that sand. So I feel like it has a little bit more locomotive momentum than you normally get out of a Zelda. And I think that might be a layer of its like secret sauce, even though the secret sauce is just more other games. But like also, inherently in game development, you're making an action adventure game that is like a dungeon kind of thing. You're going to be pulling on a lot of like familiar territory. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And I like the art style a lot too. It's like a cartoony, like
it's like a very like
down.
low poly matte, not clay, but like almost like half paper mache kind of thing. Like I really fuck with the art style.
Yeah, it's kind of got like,
it looks.
I would say it's more Fondite than paper
game?
mache for me. Though it's not as Fondite as like, funnily enough, Marathon is very Fondite, despite being kind of realistic. It's like soft. Like it looks like this could be a cake that I could eat.
It looks like Solar Ash. There you go.
Yeah,
That's the
it also
game.
looks a bit like Solar. And honestly, like I wouldn't say it plays like Solar Ash, but I can see some. You know what else? Actually, the Pathless is also another art style I would point to.
That's another great
reminiscent of it. And I think the way they're going to do like the puzzles and stuff, like I see some elements of those types of games in this. It just seems like a really fun one of those. So I was pretty impressed by it. But yeah, it's got more like maneuverability. You'll see stuff like there in the trailer. You see the character like doing that thing where you spin on the pole to jump to the next spot, which I love doing that in games. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I guess actually before I do my Day of the Devs shout outs, I do need to do some clout nods. I just feel like people would want to hear about these games, even though I don't have a lot to say on them. I'll kind of rapid fire these, but I'll end on the one that you also saw so that we have an overlap. Stranger Than Heaven, I played that. It's just gameplay is what I did. And it was just like combat. They gave you like, here's level 1 of the combat. It's like an arena, like a not arena fight, but a multi-enemy fight. Here's the intermediate level, also multi-enemies, and here's the advanced level. It's like a boss or a mini boss kind of fight. My takeaways from that is it's not bad, but I don't know that it's what I want. I think it's well executed. I think they did a good job executing their vision of like left side of the body, right side of the body combat, where it's like, it's very mapped to like the shoulder buttons. So it's like R1 is like your fist and R2 is like your attack but heavier, but you can also hold down any of them to like do almost like a wind up on them. There's a lot of realism and like cool details in what they do, and also smartness to like the enemy AI behavior. So for instance, you can like sort of stun and get an enemy downed and then be prompted to like step over them and like beat the fuck out of them. Like you stand on top of them and you just start hitting the fuck out of them. But a lot of times in games, including like Yakuza, you kind of have the space just to do that. Here, like the other enemies will interrupt you doing that. Like you can't just do that. If you get downed, you're on the floor and you can like, I played on, I forgot what controller, but you hit A or X or whatever. And you're like kind of rolling around and you need to like use the joystick to like kick your body back up if you want to like get back on your feet, or else you'll be kind of like at risk of getting like your ass beat while you're like rolling on the ground. There's stamina in this. Blocking is a big deal. Parrying would get you really far. These systems are well made, but I feel there are 2 key things I want to say about them. One, I feel like there isn't enough forgiveness in making combat this punishing for it to feel fun enough for me personally. Specifically, and they're still, tinkering with it. It could change when it comes out. But specifically the dodge does not get me far away enough. I feel I have dodged attacks and then been hit still, kind of, essentially. And maybe it's just like, different angles of enemies. But it's like, and you also can't really like spam dodge to get away, really. you kind of like, it's really hard to like maneuver away in that sense for me. Maybe some people would disagree. 2, combat is slow and it's heavy in a way that like I think goes against the more lax nature of what the combat normally is in Yakuza. And I guess I'm going to cheat and do a third one. The third one is my number one concern with this combat system. Is it in the context of this game? This is going to be a long game. It's an RPG. It's a lot of hours and a lot of repetition. Like in games like this, you are fighting a lot. I fear that I'm not going to want this level of engaged combat this often. I feel like I will get tired of it in the context of the game. So those are my takeaways of it. Moving on, unless of course if you have something to ask or add, you're free to do so. Or else I will continue my time along the clout through line. Alien Isolation. I played that as well. I have talked to other people who've played it, and apparently I had a weird situation in mind because I saw the alien and I didn't see him again until the demo was over. And everyone else is like, he was on my ass. I like basically couldn't turn and not be grabbed. So that is like I don't know, luck of the draw, unluck of the draw. Like I just didn't have a lot of, like, I did not feel stressed. I did not feel stalked. I did not feel intrigued. I never played Alien Isolation 1. Again, this is a preview. I don't think this is like, oh, the game's guaranteed to be like mid, but it was very underwhelming. If I did not know the history of Alien Isolation, I would say, I'm going to go as far as to say in this slice, even if you did have a better time with like how the AI operated, I think this is a demo that you can only glaze off of the things that have come before, the things outside the demo. And frankly, the job is to like talk about what you actually played and thought of what you played. Like I was not impressed by it. I do think it looks really good. Except for like the alien, funnily enough, I thought the alien didn't have the fidelity chops to match the fidelity of the rest of the game. I thought the alien looked worse than what the rest of the game looked like, which was kind of, I don't know. I was a little surprised by that. I'm like, I feel like this is the way you really want to oomph it up. And even the reveal of like seeing it for the first time, I wanted more drama. I wanted more intensity. I wanted more like interesting shots. And it just felt kind of like, this feels like it should be a big moment, and I don't think they played it up enough. So, like it was weird because I went in being like, oh my God, I hear the first one's really scary. And they even set it up in the demo to hype up this scariness. Like they recorded my face while I was playing because they're like, we have a reaction cam for you guys to like use later. I haven't looked at the footage yet. I'm very excited to look at it because it's very much me just looking at the screen. Like it just was not really scary. So yeah, again, a lot of things you can chop that up to. Maybe just not the best slice of it. You can go, oh, you need more time to bake, but I don't know. They if the game is gonna end up being really cool and interesting, this demo did it a disservice because I did not walk away with much from this. And my last cloudy thing that people might want to hear about is Silent Hill. I forget what the full name of it, Isaiah, is if you want to pull that out. But you also saw that, I believe, right? You were in that appointment with me, or did I hallucinate that?
Townfall.
Yes. Right? You were there, right? Or was I with Kelsey?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
No, I was there.
Okay. This looked really cool, actually. I've never played Silent Hill. I keep dragging my feet on getting to Silent Hill. But I thought this looked cool. It looked really beautiful. It seemed rightfully scary. Like, I don't know. It wasn't like a bunch of jump scares or anything, but I thought like the enemy encounter seemed cool. And I really liked what they're doing with the radio, where you can use it to like see hidden stuff, but also you can use it to see like where enemies are instead of just the magic you can see through the walls because it's a video game.
Yeah, echolocation or anything,
yes, Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And I also liked little details they had. Like they made it a point to say that they're making it so the main character isn't always just like talking about stuff. And instead they'll have like the subtitles to be like what's going on in his head to like still give you that information as the player, but make it feel more realistic. And I think it also made it feel a little more old school, a little more serious and dreary in that sense. So I quite liked what I saw of that. So yeah, that's the end of my clout circuit. But did you have any thoughts on Silent Hill, because you were with me in that hands off as well?
Yeah, I'm as I say all the time, I'm a big baby, right? I'm scared of horror games, scared of horror movies, blah blah blah. Not gonna lie though, I'm kind of interested in this one. And I don't know if that's just like the Resident Evil is starting to like desensitize me a bit and get me more open to these like horror-y, creeping around corners, there's something lurking in the distance kind of vibes. But like, or if it's just like, yo, we playing a black dude, all right, yo, like, I'm not gonna lie, that's a little enticing, right? I want to see what we like in these situations, you know what I mean? Like,
have you
true
warmed
is
up to
Konami
the
doing it?
when you watch the reveal, you're like, but why wouldn't he have left before all this popped off? Have you kind of just
I still think this will be
disbelief?
a non-existent situation. Yeah, I gotta suspend the belief that he's even there. But given that he is there, maybe there's, you know, some realism to his actions while he's in this town or whatever. Yeah, so I'm interested. I'm down to play it. I know we did like a very, very little bit of Silent Hill 2. I do kind of want to go back to that and maybe play some more.
I'm down
like
to just
October
make that
or something.
I'm honestly down to just because do we know when Townfall's coming out?
September 24th.
Oh, that's soon. Okay. Well, it's not soon, but
or 23rd, I guess.
I would be down. So you and I are doing a couple things because also something I got to write this down somewhere. We got to eventually. We can wait till we're done with it. But we started Resident Evil 5 like we said we would last episode. That's been a lot of fun. Still scared of what might be to come sociologically, but so far it's not too bad. I was like kind of like I heard this is really problematic, and there's like a couple things that I definitely am like. Please, hello, but mostly it's been fine. So enjoying that game so far. I'd be down for finishing that Silent Hill like 2 remake. Just you and I sharing a file and getting through it together.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
And then I'd also be down because I was the GDC talk got me into it. The schoolgirl one, is that Silent Hill F?
It's Silent Hill F, I think it is.
I'd be down to also co-op that with you because it's like at first I was kind of, you know, I've heard different things about it. Everyone has different takes on it, but the GDC talk kind of sold me where I'm like, maybe I should actually be playing this. Maybe there's a kind of an interesting game in here. So, yeah. Any other games that you want to nod to? I'm going to do a little. We did a lot of the Day of the Devs together, so maybe they're in there. But anything outside of that you want to make sure people know about?
Yeah, my last thing is actually not a video game, although it is related to a video game. I got to see some Magic the Gathering upcoming Marvel collab stuff, and I thought that was really cool.
And you don't want to play with me because you say I refuse to play, but you've never actually invited me to play.
I do want to play with you. I should have used my birthday wish to
I'm down.
have you play with me.
We have time probably tonight. I know we might go to the mall today, but like I'm down to play Magic because we got a bunch of free packs too. With our stuff.
So
but
Magic the Gathering, Wizards been doing a bunch of like collaborations with different IP lately. Like there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was like Avatar, like Aang the Avatar, Last Airbender. There's Final Fantasy VII. And then most recently, the upcoming one is with Marvel. And I don't think it's like MCU. I think it's just like the comic book Marvel specifically, actually. But like, I mean, there's so much crossover between like what happens in the comics and what happens in the MCU and everything that like some of the storylines and beats and imagery is going to be similar, right? But like, it was really cool getting to see like this game that I used to play. I used to play Magic, 5-6 years ago. Probably more than that now, but like I used to play a good amount, right? Like me and my friends, we'd go to the new drops and get boosters and do tournaments and blah blah blah. And then I fell off once I kind of like moved away from those friends. And I've been wanting to get back into it. Me and Janet have been trying a couple different card games. We tried Lorcana, we tried this, and we tried that. And this I think is maybe the IP that really will pull me back in to play a lot more. So I re-downloaded Magic the Gathering Arena, which is like their online digital Magic game that you can play, because they're bringing these same boosters to that as well, like the same card drops to that. So if you're someone who is tangentially interested in Magic the Gathering, if you've played before, if you play now, if you want to try it out, Maybe Spider-Man is enough to get you to try it. Maybe Iron Man is enough to get you to jump in the sea. Maybe Black Panther can get you to buy a booster pack or two and learn how to play. I thought it was really cool. I got to meet with some of the directors of this pack, of this drop, and kind of like talk a little bit about just like, what is it? What goes into making one of these? Like what are there things you could have free reign with? Are there things that like Marvel told you like, oh, actually you can't touch anything here, or anything like that? So it was just a really cool discussion and kind of like peek behind the curtain and like how do some of these like collaborative packs kind of come to be. And I thought that was really cool, and it made me even more exciting to see kind of like
was there anything,
the
not to put you too much on the spot because you might not like remember exactly, but is there any thing that came from those conversations that you thought was like particularly like interesting or like a nice fun fact?
Not like too much that you would expect, right? They mentioned that like, yeah, they kind of had more like access and free reign to comic book stuff.
Okay.
Not so much the games or the MCU. But one of the cooler things is like with the rights that they got from this, they, I guess, had previously done something, I think it was like specifically Spider-Man related, like a Spider-Man collab drop kind of thing. And this new licensing that they were able to do made it so that they could bring their old Spider-Man stuff also into the arena game. So if you were interested in that, maybe check out arena as well for some of the old new Spider-Man stuff that you might have missed before. Yeah, no, it was really cool though.
Nice. Yeah, all my Magic cards, funnily enough, are from SGF because last year I got the Final Fantasy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whenever you want.
Cloud versus Holt. We'll see who wins.
Let me know. Yeah, we have so many games we have to play. I wish we could just take. We need sabbatical just to knock some of these out.
Yeah, game sabbatical.
Yeah, game sabbatical would be good. We'll figure something out. Yeah. Okay. My last ones. It's tough. There's so many like good games. I forgot to also talk about the Lost Wilds. I saw that. I was more interested than I was before on it. The dinosaur game where you're hiding from the dinosaurs. Non-Day of the Devs, but it feels like it has Day of the Devs energy because it is an indie game. Way to the Woods. I got to play. You were like a little deer. Were you there with me when I was playing that, or was that just me and Kelsey?
No, it wasn't me.
It's cute. Oh, that was you? Like you were there?
No, it
wasn't you. Okay. I couldn't remember. It all like blends together. This is a cute game where you're a deer and a fawn, and you're going on a little journey. It's kind of giving like the level design energy is like Last of Us, but without like the scary stuff. Because if you go through like the screenshots, it's like you're in a subway, you're in an abandoned store, but it's like not scary. And it seems like light little puzzles. This is honestly like, in terms of quality, it's giving 7 out of 10 that I like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Like I really liked it, but it wasn't like amazing. It was just like really nice. It just was nice. Like it was nicely made. I like the art. I like the little things you do. It was very cute. Like there's a moment where you're picking up cats and putting them on a train, and the cats are like huge. They're so fat and they're so cute, and you can like pick them up. It's like something about like the interactions I think is really delightful, more so than like, I don't think this game is wildly intriguing in its design. It's like kind of sort of straightforward, but the presentation and just getting to be in that world was really nice. So I want to shout that out. And then for the big Day of the Devs chunk, we played a bunch of Day of the Devs games. They were kind of all in like one cluster appointment, and we got like 15 minutes apiece with them, which was really fun. I feel like that's like ideal to just get to go boom, boom, boom. All these titles. A couple of them that I want to shout out that you can jump on them with me as you see fit. Bub was probably among my favorites from the cluster we saw. That was a game that was very, like the art style was very mixed media. It is a story game inherently, so I don't have big thoughts on like how good is it actually going to be, because I haven't been able to get a sense of the story. But I thought the presentation was like super cool, and it seems really interesting because you're an artist living in New York, and it seems like you're kind of engaging like with the art that you've made, and then you end up playing inside the art you made in a way. So it's like very paper dolls kind of animated, but then like mixed media where you're like play a level that's like art design wise, it's like a bunch of dry erase markers drawn on like a whiteboard, and you're like swimming through the sea, but it's like a whiteboard marker thing. Like it just has really cool stuff, and I think the animation work is really creative and fun. It's one of those games where when you walk up to an object and interact with it, you're like delighted and surprised by what that interaction is. Just super small stuff like, oh, he's cleaning up, and like the way his body moves when he's like cleaning himself is like very like compelling to see, and like the way the dogs move around the area, it's like, oh, it's cute and derpy and interesting. And it just feels like one of those games where you're constantly surprised by what you're witnessing and experiencing on screen. Like, it has a lot of novelty to it. So, yeah, I was very into this. I know it's not really your style of game because it's like a more narrative walking simmy. It's kind of like an adventure game is like the structure of it. But yeah, I thought it was really
I still thought it looked incredible. Like, it looks artsy fartsy, but like in a very cool, grungy kind of way. Like, I thought that, again, you know, the smearing of marker on glass to represent like ocean water or something like stuff like that is just like very cool.
Yeah. I also, another thing that's not your style but is my style is Ithaca. I think that actually is just the title of the game, but it had a subtitle when I played it, but I don't know if it actually, it doesn't actually have that subtitle, but it's basically, the subtitle that they were shown to us was like a road trip odyssey. So it's pulling on elements of Greek mythology, like with the names and presumably the character archetypes, where it's like you play as Penelope, and it's like, okay, and it's like, and there's a character that's like not named Icarus, but like it's almost Icarus, so it's like maybe he's basically Icarus. I'm not sure to what degree this is going to be like a take on mythology, or if it's just like having fun with mythology. That's not really clear yet. But what really stood out to me is that you're in the car like auto drives, and you get to like interface with like the dash and like call people and change the radio station, and you're also speccing your character in a way that's like related to like dialogue choices and things. So you can like have these skills you unlock, and you can have like charm or empathy or like manipulation and these other elements that can end up impacting how things go. And it just felt like a really cool amalgamation of a lot of different games that I enjoy. I know you joked that like this is just 3D keep driving, and I don't know if it's gonna be that good. And it's structured very differently, but it kind of has some of that energy. I love a road trip game. You know, it kind of has like, it just is very enticing. And I think the visuals are also really, really pretty as well, like going from place to place. It looks really good. It seems really cool. I really liked it. The only thing I was kind of like not unsure of, but you kind of have like little QTE type things, and I wasn't really sure how to do them, but I think that was very specific to this being a demo that I was just able to play without any additional guidance. Like I'm not really worried about that, but that was like, it was tough to tell like how much that would be like good or not, because I'm like, I feel like I don't know how to do it. So but yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Any Day of the Deaf stuff you want to nod to. I have a lot of overlap with you on that anyway, so I'm sure if there's something you were into, I was into it as well. Yeah.
I mean, I also thought Ithaca was really cool. I know we played like Lazy River, which is, you know, that wacky kind of physicsy
friend slot
knocking
kind
zombies
of vibe.
around. Yeah. It was fun. We kind of just didn't have enough time with it, really, like to get into the meat and potatoes of it and like really explore a lot of the mechanics there. So I don't have too much to say about that. I didn't get to play Slap Out of it, but that looked interesting. Interested in it at least. And then I did get to see Screenbound again, which I think we saw also at like a GDC or PAX or something before. And that does have a demo out for anyone who's interested, but that's cool. And that it's like you're playing a 2D 3D game where like you see your player in a 2D Mario-esque kind of perspective on a little legally distinct Game Boy in your hands, and then you are also just like visually exploring and moving about a 3D space while doing that. And so like some things you only see in the 3D perspective, some things you only see in the 2D perspective. It's a platformer. You collect gems to open up the gate at the end of the level and things like that. It seems really interesting, but it's definitely like a weird mind challenge, I feel like, for a lot of folks, just to wrap your head around the mixed perspectives.
Yeah.
That you do have to like pay attention to both, you know?
Yeah. For the two that you shouted out, I enjoyed Lazy River as well, but yeah, like not a million things to say about that because it's pretty flash in the pan, but seems like a fun one of those. Hoping for more like intriguing stuff to be added to it, because basically what it is, it's like you are building a raft and then you're going down the river, and then you're like you can add to the raft and you can like unlock, you know, extra things or build extra weapons, and it's kind of like water parky, like water themed, but there's like also like little zombies and you like hit them with like water balloons and shoot them with like a water gun. It's cute, it's fun, I liked it. For Screenbound, I will definitely play it. I think there is an element of, it's a really cool idea and it's well executed, but I think the level, like that's the most interesting thing about it is what it is, which sounds like kind of weird, but it's like the fact that you have this 2D 3D thing, it's like that's really unique and interesting. But I think the one missing element for me for Screenbound is the level design. Like the level design isn't that interesting, and it's got like there's an element of it that feels a little sanitized and soulless, which I know sounds like hyper negative, but it's just kind of like there's not a lot of, it feels very much like this is like it's almost too meta, where it feels like I'm playing a video game instead of like, I don't feel like I'm like, the character themselves is kind of like entering a video game, so maybe that's like the point. It's like supposed to feel generic, like just a random game, but like it's also not just a random game, right? It's your game. Like Screenbound is a game that exists, and I feel like I don't get a lot of sense of like identity from it as a platformer is like one thing that's a little bit of a bummer. Like I'm still down for it, but it feels very much like we're here for the novelty of like that we're 2D 3D more so than like, I don't know, feeling like a cohesive, like it doesn't feel like a good game with a cool gimmick. It feels like a gimmick that's trying to become a good game, and I don't know how well it achieves it yet. I feel like this is gonna run into the problems that, what's that puzzle game everyone was like, I'm so excited, and when they played it they were like it was fine, where you take the pictures. Ooh, it came out like it's just like a V. It starts with a V. Viewfinder.
Ooh, Viewfinder.
It feels kind of like it's gonna end up being in that Viewfinder category, where it's like it's not bad.
I
like,
enjoyed Viewfinder.
Maybe you're gonna.
Then,
do I have another game for you? That it's yeah. So I was a little bit cooler than you might expect for it to be like a platformer, because I love platformers. So I'm out of it. You will like a lot. I did like it. I was so fucking bad at this game. I was sweating at the end of my demo. It's a puzzle game. It's an environmental puzzle game. And it's not hard by any means, but it has like a cartoon logic to it that I just needed to be away from the eyes of the person that made the game to like feel like I was good enough to play it. But It's cool. It's goofy. It's fun. Art design wise too, it's very like Muppets meets. It actually looks a lot like what's the game? I'm blanking, where they had the Bug Snacks. It looks a lot like Bug Snacks.
I love Bug Snacks.
It's slap out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. Is
it the same developers?
No. It just happens to look like Bug Snacks to me.
Gotcha.
And I think to anyone that looked at Bug Snacks, but like it's not bad or anything by any means. But it's got some cute humor to it. It is sort of like a bunch of connected areas. So like the area that I did for the demo was like you're in a place that has like 3 floors. And to solve the puzzle, like you might need something from like the second floor and to bring it back to the first floor. But the areas are small enough that it's like pretty simple to do those things. So I enjoyed it. I'm excited to play more. It's funny because they were telling me that originally it was going to be a VR game, and once they said that, I was like, "Fuck, this does look like a VR game." Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that makes so much fucking sense. I think it totally works as like a non-VR game, but like when they said that, I was like, yes, this does actually look like a VR game. But yeah, no, that was cool. But yeah, I think those are all the main highlights. Again, we actually played a lot more games than that. Many of which that were like still very solid. But you know, you can only go on for so long about things we've played. But yeah, any final words on the SGF playtime?
No, it was awesome. It was great. Really glad I got a chance to come and join you and Kelsey and everyone and see it and experience what it's like. And Yeah, it was a cool perspective, a cool, like I said at the very beginning of the episode, cool peek behind the curtain into like how these things work, to create the videos and travel logs and demos and things that I see on YouTube later.
And now for an abridged, not game section, we'll have this be a little bit shorter than usual, to give ourselves back a little bit of time. And also, the longer we go, the more World Cup games we miss. So we're going to get into talking a little bit about, it was a very special someone's birthday. Isaiah, it was your birthday. Happy birthday, Isaiah.
Yeah, thank you. I turned the big 33. So, my expedition year.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yes, it is. Your last year. Anyway, but like we've talked about birthdays before on this show, maybe like a year or so ago. But we talked more about, what we did before and what we do now. I think now we really have like I think our core solidification thing for how we do birthdays is just you have a fun day and you can kind of be the driver of the day. And and pretty much everyone has to say yes within like some level of reason is kind of the thing. But we're not as intense as we used to be. We don't do the cake at midnight necessarily. If you want to, we can, kind of thing. But starting midnight is kind of when things get going. So yeah, I liked what we did this year. It was kind of fun. This was sort of a thing we freestyled, but I had gotten you a couple different gifts. And I was like, when do you want to open your gifts? And I'm like, I was so excited for your birthday this year because I don't even know what it was, because it's the same time it is every year, right? It's an annual thing, but like something about like, I don't know if it was the mix of SGF, the World Cup or what, but I'm like, I can't wait for this birthday. Maybe I just started getting your gifts earlier than usual. I don't really know, but I was very excited to have your birthday.
Yeah.
And have that kick off. So we ended up doing your first gift at midnight, and then you were like, let's just, in between each thing we do, we'll have like gifts. So like, we'll wake up, do a gift. We were gonna get brunch together. After brunch, you get your other gift, because my brother also got you something. And I enjoyed that from like it
was awesome
outside looking in perspective. But yeah, how did you like that? And then how did you enjoy your ultimate day? And what does an ultimate day look like for you?
Yeah, no, it was dope. It is definitely like I feel like I think in the last like a year ago we talked about like kind of like birthday traditions and stuff like that. But I think the thing to take away from it going forward is like this should and can, and I am enjoying it being something that evolves over time a little bit. Like I think we discovered last time that like, hey, a fun thing to do is to just give the person money and take them to the store and let them just kind of like ball out for a few hours and have fun with, like yeah, you get them things and everything like that. But like, there's also some joy, some fun
last year for your birthday
in just buying, right? Yeah. So we kind of introduced that last year. This year, we're kind of introducing the piecemealing, the trickling out the gifts. I thought that was really fun. Getting it almost like brings you back to like, for me at least, to like being like a kid on Christmas, where like growing up we could open one present at midnight and then we had to go to sleep, but then we'd be able to open the rest of our gifts when we woke up the next morning. That was really fun, and it kind of like reminded me of that. Very, very excited to like keep that going forward. I thought I had a fantastic birthday. I thought it was great.
Yay.
I got a jersey. I got this bag that I wanted. I got iPad. I got new like this new weird funky fan thing that I didn't even know I would want, but it was a great gift. We had food. We got pizza and wings. We got cake from Sweet Red Peach, which is like this LA area bakery. They have a couple different locations. Definitely check them out because their food is delicious. Got got to watch the NBA finals, got to watch some World Cup games. Like got to watch some anime, some Blue Lock and a little bit of Aoshi, like 2 different like soccer anime. Like it was just a very, also got breakfast that morning from like our favorite breakfast spot. Like it was a jam-packed day of just fun things happening all day from sun up to sundown. And it is like, it was the birthday that going forward is gonna like, I'm gonna compare other birthdays to it. Like, and again, Yay. It wasn't like oh, you flew me out to Dubai and like we were on a beach and this, that, and the third. But like I wouldn't have enjoyed that more than I enjoyed this. You know, maybe I would have. Who knows? It's hard to say, I guess. But like it was not this like super extra, like, you know, like most people think of birthdays, they think of like big budget, you know, you're going somewhere, you're doing something, it's crazy, it's wild, it's like once in a lifetime kind of thing. For me, I enjoy those, like, you know, moments and everything like that, but like to me, a day at home or a day with the, you know, the people close by who you're close and you love and you want to, you know, spend time with them, like to me that kind of has its own value that can't be bought, really, right? And like that, Aww. I thought was just like super dope.
And then for the thing that can be bought, which is the iPad, I think that worked.
The iPad really was hard. Great. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one to be able to do. Yeah, I wanted to do even more, but I'm like, at a certain point, it starts to get diminishing returns for my life. You know what I mean? Like, but no, I mean, it's a fun time to get you some things that from, you know, we do the lists, you know, for people that haven't heard the show before and how we do gifts. We just do lists. It's easy. It's simple. You know, you're going to get something that you want. But you have the freedom to go off the list if you'd like to. I think you're like quietly encouraged to at least get one list thing, just so that it's like not just totally,
you know, you got one thing that the
yes.
person will like. Yeah.
Yeah. And also too, because especially like we sometimes will like, you know, not get ourselves something to like have stuff for, or, you know what, I'm going to leave this for my list. So it's, you know, one of those kinds of things. Something that I've really liked that we've started to do, which back in the day, and not even that long ago, probably like I'd say like 2016, 2017 kind of years, I was very much a birthday purist. I'm like, you have your birthday. It's the day you were born. That's it. Like you got that day is your birthday. And that's kind of almost like all the fun you're allowed to have in a way. Now, I don't know if it's just that like my heart has grown 2 sizes bigger or something, but I'm now team birthday month. I do think you can get obnoxious with that. I think there's ways to do that obnoxiously, but I think as long as you're not like, you know, berating people about it, have some fun throughout the month. Like, you know, life is short. It's like, and that's what, you know, I'm glad that you also have kind of lightly loosened up on some of those things too. You're definitely a birthday purist for like gifts. You're like, I want my birthday gift on my birthday, but you've even opened up a little bit for that, where we went to the Dodgers game the week before, and I know you've been wanting a jersey. And this one, I'm like, I will just show my hand. I'm like, look, I'm definitely going to buy you a jersey. Like, I want to buy you a jersey. You've been wanting one for a long time. It's honestly easier to just tell you and have you pick it. Because one, that I know for sure, you know, they can be so pricey. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to. I mean, I know what players you like, so you're not going to be mad if I got you, like, you know, a Smith jersey. But it's just like, well, who do you really, you know, do you want Shohei? Do you want, you know, who do you want? Who would you want me to just ask you? But also the fun of like, hey, we're at the stadium. Great selection. You can try on if you want. Like, hey, like, do you want it? Can I just get you your jersey here? And you were down for that. Well, I feel like there were years where maybe you wouldn't have wanted to do that because you're like, well, it's not my birthday yet. But that was really fun. Like, I'm glad that you were like open to that. And it's stuff like that I think is really fun to sort of how, like, I like to think of like that birthday month, at least for like me personally. And I like to spread this if you're open to it. But like, how can we make good times just happen around that month and make it feel almost like it's culminating to the birthday? And that's also, I think, what's so fun about your birthday this year, where it's like smack dab in the middle of a lot of like exciting things. You know, we have the World Cup matches that we're going to at the time of of this recording next week, and we'll talk about that on the show, of course. But yeah, it's like all in this like fun time. Like I like making birthdays now feel a little bit more like a season, where it's like, Christmas is Christmas and that's cool. Halloween's Halloween, that's cool. But like, what are ways that we can have like festivities and niceness throughout? So that's been a fun thing to shake up the days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and like, my just really quick on that, like my birthday always tends to fall during summer video game event season. But I don't know, even that, like a pro of this year was that like, I was able to go to SGF. So like again, that's kind of like a cool little like almost like a birthday treat, right? We got the World Cup. I'm getting soccer for my birthday. Like, extending out.
You having the Knicks win for your birthday was kind of crazy.
The Knicks win on my birthday. Like, just like having, learning to be a little bit more loose in what I can consider as a birthday celebratory thing, has made it a little bit more fun, right? It's given room for more adventure, more ups, more positives, more surprises.
Yeah, we also this is something else we've talked about in the show, but this is very morbid. It's a joke, obviously, but we talk about sometimes when we have like these really good days, we describe them as like the dog's last day, because like, again, this is really dark. If your dog's listening, like, put your dog away. But it's like, how when a dog is sick and he's got one last day and you give him like the best day ever, like that's sort of why we like refer to that, and we have like these ultimate days. So yeah, but it's been fun throwing that into the mix and having that, again, for you, it's the pizza and wings are your favorite food. So we do that. It's funny because I do think yourself pretty well, but I think I don't know, like, I guess, how would you describe, like, why do you sometimes have a hard time picking what you do for your birthday? Is it because you feel like you don't really know what you want, or is it because you're shy about being demanding? Because I kind of like gave you a rough draft of like, I think this would be a good day for your birthday, and then you were like, copy paste, sign my name on it, and let's run it, which I think worked out and was like fine. But I'm curious, for you, which of those two things is it? Is it the humbleness, or is it like an uncertainty on what you want?
Neither. I mean, of the two, it's closer to the humble thing. What I think it is really is that like, I'm fine making a suggestion for a group or for people, right? Like, I'm fine, being the decision leader, right? Like, we go to Disney or something like that. When we went, it was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll just be in charge of like finding the rides that we're going on, taking charge, being the leader, whatever. Fine. What I don't want though is like to rule with an iron fist and like just steamroll like the events that are happening for everyone, even if it is like my day and like I'm in charge. No, it's not though. Like, I still want, I'm gonna enjoy my birthday the most knowing that the people I'm with are also enjoying the activities. If I can do what I want without care for everyone else's like wants any other day. Like, I do that on the regular. Like, I'm watching what I want to watch. I got anime on the TV and you don't care, or like you're busy doing something else. It's like I can have my time doing that whenever. This is a time of like us being together, having fun together. So like, let's choose something that we'll all like. That's at least my thinking, right? So I don't know if it's quite I don't know what I would want to do. It's more, I don't know what would be like the best for the group. So having you come in with your suggestions help that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're like overly careful about those things. It's like we're just here to have fun. I'll tell you one thing: I'm not going to think about the group whenever.
No, and hey, and that's fine.
Like with the thing. Yeah, but that, I mean, that's kind of, I guess that makes sense. That is your nature. You're very like thoughtful in that way, and I guess to a degree, like it can be to a fault. But again, I know you well enough to kind of. It's pretty easy to map out. Like, these are the things that you always talk about wanting to do. Like, you're big on like waking up early enough to have the day, but then having the option to take a nap. So it's like, we could nap if you want. And you're like, actually, I want to keep having my day and enjoying my day. So yeah, really sweet stuff. I mean, my perfect day is pretty close to what your perfect days are. I don't know if that speaks to just like our compatibility, the ways we've morphed into each other, combo of the two. But I tend to like a lot of the things that you like. So like when I think of my birthday perfect day / perfect day, it's pretty similar, where it's like some good food, we're hanging out, we're like maybe playing some games or watching some stuff. I think the only big difference is I probably would like in my ideal day throw a massage in there, because I love massages, and
yeah,
I don't know,
massages.
Maybe like a couple like something more like beer oriented. Though we had some beer on your birthday, but like something like that. Like this, it doesn't look that different. But yeah, it was definitely fun to hang out all day, and a lot of good. The nice thing about like the World Cup and sports in general is it's like there's automatically fun stuff on the calendar for you to do if you so choose. It's like, oh, there's this game on, we could watch it. So that's been really cool. But one way that I've enjoyed that we have sort of naturally fallen into, I'm curious if people listening also run into this, but when it's around like birthday, maybe even to a degree Christmas, there's also this feeling of like wanting to like also shop for yourself. And it's like, I don't really know how to describe it because it's not like we're not satisfied with the things we've gotten, but it's like, what if we kept this going? And then there's like a little bit of like shopping that also happens. So yeah, that's always like a fun element to things. Like we did a little bit of that. And then it's nice because I kind of like, I don't intend for this, but I end up getting like the shopping spillover. Or something I've noticed is like, there are certain things that I'll give you where it's like I inherently kind of have to buy myself the same thing. I know people think that's bad, but like I noticed last year I got you some earbuds because we go to like a lot of games and stuff, like noise canceling earbuds, and I was like, well, I'm gonna give myself this too because I'm also at the games. Like I'm sure some people would be bothered by that. I feel like you're genuinely really chill about it. Again, I don't do it for everything I get you, but there are certain things where it's like, well, it just seems silly for me not to have. I got you an ergonomic pillow this year.
I'm not gonna be the only one without this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it just seems like, well, it almost feels like I'm not buying it for the clout of being like, this is just your thing. It's like I kind of, I mean, a lot of those in a lot of those instances too, I found it initially with myself in mind and just thought like, well, obviously it'd be good for you to get as well. So, yeah. Now that you're out of your birthday, any other ways that you're keeping the spirit going, or things that are left? I know we might do some shopping, if not today, soon, of getting you some new clothes.
Yeah, the clothes thing you mentioned, right? I've been wanting and needing to really like just drop some coin, get some new outfits, get some like more weather appropriate outfits too, right? Like, we're getting into the hotter months here in LA, especially in the Valley. So like, inherently I need more shorts. I need more tank tops. But then, also just kind of keeping in mind, like some of our travels and trips and like some of the pain points I've had, I had on my birthday list, like this like anchor charger thing, that I ended up just buying myself yesterday, just because it's like, what, we got the Japan trip, we're constantly going to like LA Galaxy games or work events or the library or like wherever you might end up being, and I'm always have like a slight fear of my phone dying and me not being able to like my phone, like a random fear of like my phone dying, me losing my keys, and then just being stranded somewhere. And it's like, all right, well, let me just get a power bank, like a proper, powerful, like you can use it on flights, you can use it internationally. Like let me just get one of these things, to just alleviate that fear and not have to worry about it. So I broke down, I got that. There's probably a couple other like little things that I want to get here and there, right? Like I want to get some new luggage. I know we talked about maybe heading to Santa Monica and checking out like this luggage store that I found that had some cool stuff I was interested in. And then in general, I like my gadgets, right? My stupid cube that you made fun of, but then you kind of came around on it. It's like this like laser cut precision cube. That is a paperweight.
Yeah, so it's not that I and this is also a funny part about gift giving, which I'm curious, actually, this is a fun like subtopic to get into. So this cube, it's from this company called Metmo, Metmo, and it's a precision machine wire EDM cube, which what this means for anyone who doesn't know what those words are, because I freaking don't. It's just a stainless steel cube that like it's cut in a way that like the pieces that come out are like, it's like there's no extra space, so it's supposed to be very like satisfying to like push. Satisfying, what is it called? Pneumatics is kind of the thing that they're like, promoting, and it's basically like a really bougie fidget. And I know some people they get squeamish about the price of things, but it's it's expensive. It's like a little bit under $400. Like it's very expensive. But, you know, it is cool. Like, I do think one day I would love to get you this cube, but it was one of those things where I had to look at, like, what things were on your list, and then what did I think would... there's, like, two things that happen when you look at someone's gift list. One, there's an acknowledgement that, like, this is about them, it's not about you. So, like, while I think the cube is stupid, if you only had this cube on your list, you would have got this cube, for sure. But... you didn't have this cube as the only thing on your list. You had other things, you know, like the iPad mini was a big one. You had another couple high ticket items. I'm like, all of those other high ticket items are better. They make more sense. And I think you'd get more joy out of them. Like you've talked so much about wanting like a smaller iPad for travel specifically because your iPad is like the Pro and it's really big. Like you've mentioned that to me so many times. And not like in a fishing way, just in like, you know, we live together and talk about things like you've mentioned to me, like we travel like a decent amount for work. You know, we have the Japan trip that's going to be coming up for our honeymoon / anniversary. I'm like, the iPad is going to be such a dub. Like it's also something that I felt like you've been wanting for so long. I felt like if I didn't buy it for you, you probably would buy it for yourself before then anyway. So I also felt like it was a good mix of practical, but also it's kind of a fun item too. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be it's practical. It's fun. He wants this a lot. Like it hit all these boxes. While like the cube, I would have to either slow save for it and be like, fuck it, I'm getting this cube. Or I just make so much money that I'm like, I can just fucking buy a metal cube and have this, like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
So that brings me to my question. Because it's not me hating on the cube. I think the cube is cool. It's just like, I cannot justify. If I got you the cube, you'd have like no other big ticket items. And it's like, if you're only gonna get one ticket item, the cube is like the dumbest thing to buy. To what degree do you look at like my lists and have to take that like dumb lens to it, or like does that cross your mind at all? Like, are you how do you figure out what you get me from my lists, or how you justify like how you pick the bigger ticket items and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's similar, right? Like you see what's on the list, and I first run it through like a quick filter of like, is this something that I think is, how much enjoyment do I think you'll actively get out of this thing, right? Like if it's, you know, a bag, it's like, okay, I know you love your bags. Okay, cool. Let me do that. But if it's like a figurine or something, like I know you had like the Frieren figurine thing that you've wanted for like a while, and like maybe eventually we'll just get it, right? And, you know, get it for you or whatever. But it's like, I know I see the joy you get out of our current figurines and things that we have on like shelves and everything like that. And it's like, would you enjoy it? Absolutely. But would you enjoy it as much as a bag that you can use every time you go out? No. Right. It'll be a thing that you'd enjoy less. And so the joy per dollar efficiency is better off getting something else. So I do think about that. I also try to get you like varied things. Like I try not to just get you 2 or 3 things that are like all like, I wouldn't get you ever 3 bags, even though you again probably would love that. I think it's just like too samey, and I think that there's a joy on your birthday of getting like different things. You should and like
put the bags in
a bag and a bag and a bag,
and then inside the last bag, cash.
Yeah,
just a free idea for you, you know, just something I want you to feel
cool.
Inspired.
I'll tuck that idea away.
But no, I mean, I agree with you though, actually, on that. Like, even though you're right, I probably would, like, if you gave me 3 bags, like, you know, I have a Pinterest board I'm always updating, and for myself, just to think of the things I want. If you got me 3 bags from there, like, I would enjoy them, but it would be a lot. It'd be a little. I agree with you. Like, I think varied is better than not. And I even agree with you on the Frieren statue. Like, I think that will be fun to have, but there's also certain things where I've decided they're more like things I want to do when we're in like our permanent house or condo, permanent with quotes, because, you know, nothing's really permanent in this life, but, you know, like we're more settled, because with our space, with the moving guillotine kind of always hanging over us, it's a bitch to fucking put around a lot of figurines. That being said, I do think I might end up getting those Peach Riot figures sooner rather than later, because they've been calling to me like the Green Goblin mask. But those are also way cheaper and like way like less fragile. So, and also it's like, I don't know, and they're smaller also. So it's like I can just put that on my desk. While the big Frieren statue, that's going to be like a large thing that we can find space for or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have
my version of the metal cube where you looked at this and said, bitch, absolutely fucking not. Is it that corset that I've been wanting, that corset top that looks like Sailor Moon? It's obscenely
that's definitely
expensive.
up there. Yeah.
That's my cube.
That's definitely up there. That, and then I think like even for the things that like I think you will put randomly like a bag or a fashion piece or something that I think you would love to have, but I would see it as such a like one use kind of item, like the corset or like some random ugly bag that is like you can't use this ever. Like you would use it once or twice and then it would sit in the closet. It's like I want longevity with my purchases, with my gifts as well. It's like I want to get something that you're gonna use over and over and over again.
I do not think. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I got some ugly bags saved on my Pinterest. I'll just be honest with you. At least to your perception. I don't think they're ugly, but one of them is a little garish looking. I don't even know how I want it. I just have it saved in case I need it. I don't feel like I have a bag that was never really used. Now, my most unused bag, funnily enough, is my most expensive bag. It's the Coach Empire Carry-All, which I got on super sale before y'all think, ooh, you got like that. I got it on super sale before they raised the price. So that's my PS5 investment. The PS5 is now $1 million, and so is the Coach Empire Carry-All. That one I did kind of take an L on that. I probably will end up honestly selling it. Other than that, and like, yeah, that's my least utilized bag. It just kind of had some cons I didn't realize it would have until I used it. I've used like all my bags though. I think this is a fake fear, because even the bags that I'm probably there's like 2 bags I might get rid of, like that but even those I used to use a lot. I feel like the bags are. I
don't want you getting rid of a thing that I get you. If I get you something and you use it once or twice and you get rid of it, I'm gonna feel like, dang, she got rid of my gift.
I have used it way more than once or twice, though. Is the thing.
Well, you know why? It's because I didn't get you ugly corset.
That corset looks so good. Okay,
it does look good. It's just not.
I know Nicki Minaj is like canceled because she's like super Trumpy, but it's giving. Every woman in here is gonna like the jacket. Please, you wore a denim vest, okay? Like, but I mean, it's funny because I've almost checked out on that corset because it's been on sale as well. But especially now with the tariffs, because it's imported, it's a bit. For people who are curious, it's the Larika Matoshi Sailor Moon style corset. I fear for the day that she stops making this, and then I can never buy it. And also, don't at me. I know that realistically, because I've wanted this thing for dead ass, like maybe like 3 years or something, like at least 2 years for sure. I know that if I put $20 aside every month, I would have already been able to afford it. You don't have to tell me that. Okay. There's a lot of shit I got to save up for, and I can't save up for everything at once. And you're right. I steel cubed my own Lyrica Matoshi corset, but yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Lyrica Matoshi, if you're listening to this, 1, I really hope I pronounced your name right, and 2, girl, send me that shit. I will do anything. I will post. I'll do anything but give you the money that you're owed for it. If I make out because it's too expensive, I will post. I will tag. I'll go back on Twitter and post on there. I got a lot of followers. I don't use that platform anymore. I will post on all of everything. I will make a video. I will make a vlog. That thing is beautiful, and I know it would hit so hard, but anyway. Yeah. But there is also the fear of stuff like that where it's like I can't. If I was able to try that on, it would be a lot like chiller. But there's like, how will it actually look? It looks a little see-through. How see-through is it? Is it so see-through I gotta buy a second thing? You know, and then the sizing too. You can return it, but then it's like it's a little rough of a. And you're right. It does have very limited wear. It really is just like semi-formal events, of which I go to several. But like
But it needs to be a semi-formal event that like. Even then that it's appropriate for, right? Like you can't, I don't think you could wear that to, I guess a wedding is a more formal event, but like a cocktail party wedding kind of thing. I don't think you can. Yeah. I think if you showed up with that to a wedding, they're going to be like, why the fuck did this bitch bring her costume out for my wedding? Like,
No,
you would be,
no.
yeah,
It's
100%.
cute. It's cute. You're tripping.
100%.
It's a cute.
It's cute,
fun top.
but it's not. It's a peacock kind of thing, and you can't. There are some situations where you can't.
It's not
be
that
peacocking.
peacocky. It's not.
It
that
is
peacocky.
very peacocky.
It's not that peacocky. You could wear to a wedding. If someone wore it to my wedding, I'd be like, holy shit, this is the lyrical Matoshi top. I love that designer. I have none of their pieces because they're too expensive. Now that being said, that's also why I want the black and pink one, because I want them. I realize I've bought this. We're getting way off topic, but I bought like that suit jacket, but it has a bit of white trim, so I feel like I can never wear it to a wedding because it has a little bit of white in it. And I know it's not that much, but it's just enough where I'm like, I don't want to be part of the narrative, you know. So that was a mistake on my part. Honestly, at some point we should do we bought something that's stupid. Kind of have our Ben Wyatt buying the Batman costume. We need that for ourselves. I think I should buy this core set and you should buy this cube. Just not today because it's a waste of money. It's a waste of fucking money for either item.
Okay.
Once a year we should buy something that is dumb and impractical. I think. It'll cure what ails us. But anyway, that was Isaiah's birthday. Happy birthday, Isaiah. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shout out to all the Geminis out there.
Let's go, June babies.
Gemini rights. All right. Can you say hi to my mom? Can you shut the fuck up? That brings us to Poll of the Show. Last episode we asked you about stuff you replayed a lot, stuff you just went back to a lot, rewatch, reread, all of that. Isaiah, what did the people have to say?
We got a pretty varied list of responses. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the so looking at games, right? What games have you replayed the most amount of times? I see your burner account in here with Jack and Dexter. Final Fantasy X. We both need to. That's the one where they fuck underwater. We still need to both get back to that. You need to play it for the first time. I need to play it and actually finish it because I got all the way to the end and then my save got corrupt. Star Fox Adventures, which I hope that person's happy for the new Star Fox game. Metal Gear Solid 4. They played it 5 times, which is insane because it's not a short game by any means. And then we get into what books have you reread the most? We got Under the Dome. We got I Spy, which they said don't come for me for my dummy pick. Which okay, fair. I'm not gonna dogpile on you. Reading Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring 3 times is insane. And the Traveling Cat Chronicles sounds kind of interesting. I don't know what that's about. Another person actually wrote Fellowship of the Ring, so I guess people just love reading this Fellowship of the Ring.
I do want to kind of retry. I found don't get too upset, but I found this is like to listeners, not to you. I found Lord of the Rings to be kind of dry to read. It felt very dragged out, minus like 2 parts of it. So I don't know if that was like a headspace thing or if it's just not my taste. But I've been curious to maybe retry that because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it kind of feels like one of those things you have to like. Because people like it so much. It's like, oh, this has to be good. It must be me that's the problem. But I don't know. So we'll see. I'm looking up this Traveling Cat Chronicles because I like cats. Even though I have
right? It sounds interesting.
It's even about cats. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a war crime novel actually or something. TV shows.
It's at least somewhat about a cat. Cat confirmed. So
okay.
We'll see maybe.
Okay. Parks and Rec, The Office, Malcolm in the Middle. Again, your burner is just like seeping in here. Law and Order, probably all versions and shows. That's deep because that gets really dark sometimes.
I want to go back to SVU and continue my front to back. We stopped one of the original stopping points is where we stopped. We gotta keep going. Well, it's nice we just pick up where we left off because it's not like it's like it has that house thing. Where it's like the characters do have evolution, but it's mostly just a formula that keeps repeating.
Yes, 100%. Which, hey, I'm fine with. And we jumped into movies. Ratatouille, which I don't know who you are. Shout out to you because Ratatouille is a fantastic movie.
The Ratatouille, the rat of my dreams. I remember that on TikTok during the pandemic when people losing their mind.
White Chicks, Pride and Prejudice, Jurassic Park, Howl's Moving Castle, Mission Impossible, Fallout. They watched 5 or 6 times. That's kind of a little crazy. I haven't seen. I'm new to Mission Impossible. I've literally only seen one. That's like the movie series this year that we're working through. So I own like probably
all of them.
Even that one. Yeah. I'm just working through them. And honestly, the first one was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So maybe it's not too crazy. And then like Phantom Menace and like, Star Wars, things like that. Like people are gonna rewatch those all the time. Totally makes sense. And then lastly, places you have revisited the most. And this is like, not, grandma's house down the street or around the corner. Like generally, the idea is that like, you're traveling to get to this place. We got Tacoma, Washington, only about 20-minute drive for you. That's on the edge. I'll give it to you. But that is on the edge. Fiji, which is a crazy place to revisit multiple times. New York City, which I think we talked about, is a great place. We want to go back there, right? We got Guatemala for family. That's awesome. Love to see that. Japan, been 6 times. That's wild to think about.
That's gonna be us.
We're excited for our first time. Yeah. We're like, let's get this first time going. There's a couple Canada suggestions. We got Silver Star, and yeah, just Rehoboth,
somewhere in Delaware.
Yeah.
Sidebar of that, and I know there's ways we could make it work, but it's just like kind of harder. If I didn't have this type of job where I have to like sort of be able to like have really good internet connection and like the tech to play games, like I kind of need like a big beefy tech setup to do my job. If it wasn't for that, I would totally be down to be like a fucking hippie and just like Airbnb different places and just like if we were just like working remote, like straight up working remote, we would have been like your friends did that actually for like a year where they went across the country checking out different places. I would so be doing that shit. Doing that shit. And maybe I should be less maybe I'm limiting myself. Maybe there are ways I can make a traveling like tech setup.
There's definitely ways we can make that work.
But I feel like we ran out of time to do that. We should have done that a couple of years ago, though. But I don't know. I do think that'd be fun. Or maybe we could split the difference in some way. Because I don't want to, like... The thing is, with how we have our life set up now, I don't really want to, like, give up our apartment and just, like, wander. And I don't want to have pay for both because that's too much money. Like, we spend too much on rent to, like, justify not living in here. But...
Well, I will say, I think our current apartment is kind of, like, some of the cheapest rent we'll probably ever pay now going forward. So, like, if there is a time to, like, take a month and go somewhere, go to Mexico and just, like, live in Mexico for a month or something like that while we can pay the rent here, maybe we Airbnb some stuff out or something, but.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to do that. Maybe that could be a next year thing because then we have some time to brush up on our Spanish. You have some time to learn some Spanish.
You to brush up, yeah. Let's not get it confused. You to brush up, me to learn.
Gained a couple words, I think. I still need to like work on before we do our classes. I want to do some like casual teaching for you, and I have not done that yet. So I'll start working on that. Anyway, yeah, but I'm excited to. It's fucking fun as hell to travel. Like it's so cool. Okay. Cool. Other things people are sharing. People shout out the podcast, which we appreciate. Talking about the plane drama of being on the shoulder of the plane is tough. Middle seat lock-in. On top of that requires monk level like discipline.
Yeah.
And then the Jack and Daxter thing I was talking about is Open Goal is the name of that project. And they said it's great on Steam Deck. And lastly, people just kind of talking about the them hitting, going back to the reread rewatch to remember their first cat Madeline, and their grandma. So that's sweet. Yeah, I think it's definitely nice to like connect with people through like media in that way. This is like dark, but like okay, this is like way darker than the dog thing. I am like fucked up, so I'd be thinking of dark shit and then playing it out in my head to see how I would react as like a form of mental fortitude. It's a problem. Let me know if you relate though. So I have ran through the like what happens if you die kind of thing, and then if I think of it too much, I get really sad, and then I have to stop. But I definitely would be like that Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough if you were dead. Oh my god, that thing would wreck me. I'm getting misty just thinking about it. Oh my god. But I would definitely be playing Kingdom Hearts.
Well, like, what if you hate it though? Like, You're like
that would still get me because I'd be like, oh my god, this is his favorite game. It's so bad. He doesn't know how bad it actually is because he died. Like, I would still be like,
oh my god.
Yeah, because just because you're dead doesn't mean I'm not doing my job anymore. I'm still a game critic. So I'm like, oh my god, Isaiah, this is so trash. And I'm like, oh, I wish he was here to defend this right now. I wonder what he'd say, and then I would guess what you would say because I know you well enough to know what you would say. Yeah, so yeah, no, it would be
so
sad.
Funny.
But I do plan. I'm hopefully going to play that this year, and it's unlikely you're dying this year, so I think we can get this get this mapped out pretty quick. But yeah, it's like, have you ever read the? Obviously, it could be fake because anything on the internet could be fake. But have you ever read that like old Tumblr post about the guy who would race? He played the racing game, and his dad was like had his
the
time,
ghost.
and he was like the ghost, and he would always like purposefully lose. So sweet. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, this has been a long episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the extra time. We really want to, give a good nod to all these games. Again, we worked for so many days on it. It feels a shame to like let these takes go to waste. So I'm like, we kind of should get this out there and make the most of it. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. This week, Isaiah, what can people expect from the poll of the show?
Yeah, this week we're going to be asking about your favorite announcements and news to come out of SGF, and what month is your birthday? Do a quick little poll, see if there are any other June babies, maybe January babies, July J babies. A lot of months with J in the year, so see where you fall amongst the rest of the gang.
Nice. And that is it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to inbox@GamesAndNotGames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you enjoy the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Cinco de Mentes.
And if you're an audio listener, remember that you can get the video version over on YouTube at GamesAndNotGames. If you like the video, be sure to leave us a like and a comment, as it helps us get the show in front of more people, grow the community, and become even bigger. Give us a follow on social media. We're pretty much everywhere at GamesAndNotGames. That's mainly BlueSKy, TikTok, Twitch, and Backloggd. And until next time, gang.
Gang.
Peace.